Who are you? What are you? How do you see yourself? Have you ever paused to consider these questions deeply? Beyond your job title, beyond your roles in family and society, who is the person you aspire to be? Many of us dream of becoming better versions of ourselves, more resilient, more serene, more virtuous. Yet, the path to such transformation often seems littered with obstacles, both external and internal. Imagine a philosophy that not only asks you to reflect on these questions, but also provides practical tools for achieving personal growth. A philosophy that teaches you to embrace challenges, control your perceptions, and act with integrity. This ancient wisdom is not a secret. It's been guiding seekers for centuries, offering a blueprint for overcoming adversity and living a life of purpose. Through the lens of Stoicism, we'll explore strategies to master your emotions, make decisions aligned with your true self, and cultivate an unshakable peace of mind. This journey is about more than just theoretical knowledge. It's about practical application, about turning introspection into action. Are you ready to confront the obstacles that stand between you and the person you wish to become? Let's take this journey together, learning how to navigate life's storms with grace and emerge stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled. Do you want to know what makes you happy? Is it your family or people you care about? Is it the money or just the peace of mind? The old Stoics, such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, had a different idea of what happiness really meant. They didn't see happiness the way most people do or the way the media shows it these days, which brings up the question of how you can be happy like the Stoics were. Today, we're going to talk about 10 tried and true Stoic ideas that can help you be happy in 2024. There are so many useful and strong ideas in this list that following just 2 of them would completely alter your life. Hold on tight and pay close attention, because this is going to change your life. Let's start our trip. Don't question yourself anymore. Start believing. Doubt is a strong enemy that often creeps into our minds like an unwanted guest. But there's a catch. It's not about getting rid of all doubt. It's about dealing with it in a Stoic way. You see, even the Stoics had doubts about themselves, but they knew how to use them to their advantage. Take Marcus Aurelius as an example. He was the leader of an empire, but still found time to think about things and give himself advice. His strategy wasn't to ignore uncertainty. Instead, it was to fight it. He asked, "Is this thought helpful? Does it make my life better or worse?" This is a sign for us. When doubt comes up, we can face it with these questions and turn it from a problem into a chance to learn and grow. In a way, it's funny how our questions get bigger when the answers are easier than we think. Aurelius thought, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." These are not just pretty words, they're a useful motto. Imagine that you are about to begin a new task or hobby. Doubt says, "You can't." Here's how you turn the script. Admit the doubt, and then show proof of your past wins, no matter how small they may seem. Having faith in yourself can be the first thing that makes you happy. Remember that being happy doesn't mean not having any doubts. It means being able to believe in yourself, even when you do. Think about your life. Have you ever put down your Netflix binge to think, "Is this it?" Let's be honest. You don't have to go up a mountain and relax to think about your life. You should take a moment to think deeply about yourself, maybe while you enjoy your morning coffee. Think of your life as a movie. Ask yourself things like, "What makes me get out of bed every morning?" Or, "Why do I act the way I do?" What do you think? Would you watch it or fall asleep before the end credits? When you reflect, you're not being mean to yourself. You're just being honest. If your daily life were a YouTube movie, would you click like or scroll past? Don't forget that you're in charge of this show. You decide if it's good enough to binge. Let's talk about dreams now. These are the dreams you really have when you want something so badly, not the weird ones where you show up to work in your pajamas. Do they just sit on a shelf and gather dust? Now is the time to bring them back to life by breaking them down into steps as easy as your morning to-do list. Just think about it. You can take small steps toward your goals if you remember to charge your phone every night. You get to write your own life story, so make it one you'd love to share. Pay attention to what you can change. Life's uncertainty can be stressful at times, but there is a way to stay calm. Think about the things you can control. You can't change how the levels are set up or how other players act, just like in a video game, but you can get good at your moves. In the same way, pay attention to your deeds, thoughts, and emotions in real life. You should be smart about how you use this key and buttons. As a well-known Stoic educator, Seneca was once sent away. However, Seneca did not see banishment as giving up power. He went inside and worked on his writing and thinking, taking care of his mental yard. He wasn't going on a vacation, he was just focusing on what he could control. His works from this time show how important it is to focus your attention on the things that matter most. This lesson is just as important now as it was in ancient Rome. There are things we can control and things we can't. The main idea of Stoicism is summed up in this quote, which is often credited to Epictetus. Epictetus knew what he could and could not control, so he focused on his own thoughts, feelings, and actions. By following this way of thinking, we can also become happy, more content, and stronger, just like he was when things were going badly in his life. Don't forget that the goal is not to stop the storm, but to learn how to dance in. Do less and do it better. Did you ever try juggling? If you start with too many balls, they will all fall to the ground. It's kind of like that in life. Trying to do everything often doesn't get much done. You need to do less but better of what you already do. It's not how many chores you do, but how engaged you are in them. Give everything you have to the things that really matter to you. This focused method not only makes you better at what you do, but it also makes you feel more satisfied and successful. It's not about having less that makes life easier. It's about having more of what matters. Cut your list of things to do down to the most important ones, like an artist carving away extras to show a beautiful figure. Get rid of the things that don't matter in your life to find your true goals. Being clear makes you want to act, and acting makes you happy. Focusing on fewer things will help you use your energy better, so every effort will be worth it. Roman leader Marcus Aurelius once said, "Concentrate every minute like a Roman on doing what's in front of you, with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, and with justice." He was not only in charge of an empire, but also of his time and his mind. He set priorities, thought things through, and then acted with purpose. Let's remember his wise words and focus on doing less but better as we try to be happy. We let a world of greatness and happiness into our lives. To make a bigger difference, let's narrow our focus. Thank you. Let's think about being thankful for a moment. It's kind of like finding $5 in an old jacket. It was always there, but finding it makes your day a little better. That's how being thankful changes things. Taking pleasure in little things like a warm coffee, a text from a friend, and the sunset. Life gets fuller all of a sudden when you start to notice and be grateful for the little things. It's not about waiting for big things to happen. It's about enjoying the little things in life. How can you make being thankful a habit? It's really very easy. Keep a log of things you're thankful for. Write down one thing you're thankful for every night. What it is could be as small as taking a moment to enjoy silence, or as big as reaching a personal goal. This habit changes your attention from what's missing to what's already there. And believe me, you'll find more things to be thankful for the more you look for them. It was Epicurus who said, He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. This man made his simple, limited life rich by focusing on what he had instead of what he didn't have. In 2024, he told us to be thankful for all the good things in our lives and to respect them. We open the doors to joy and happiness. It is important to remember that being thankful makes you happy. Not being happy makes you thankful. Put down your quest for outside acceptance. The need for acceptance from other people. In the end, we can't catch the shadow we're after. Stoicism, an old idea that still has a lot to teach us today, teaches us an important lesson here. To begin, let's be honest. Everyone wants a thumbs up from time to time. Here's the catch. Stoicism tells us to change the order of things. For approval, you need to look inside yourself, not outside. Think of your sense of self-worth as a stronghold. Why give the keys to someone else? Now for the useful stuff. How can you actually stop this plan to get approval? First, give yourself credit for what you've done, no matter how small. This morning, did you make your bed? Good job. Please take a moment to enjoy these small wins. Trust me, they add up. It's like working out your mind, but you're the coach and the fan. And if you want to get likes or praise on social media, stop. Do you want to do this for yourself or for the gram? Here's a little Stoic secret. The only thing that really counts is your view. Try to do something every day that makes you proud, not for the praise, but because it makes you feel good. Rewiring our brains to look for approval from within instead of from outside sources is what it's all about. It's like clearing out your mind. Focus less on what other people think and make more room for your own growth. Being true to yourself is more important than not caring about other people. This change in how you think is not only freeing, it's also powerful. Put yourself to the test. Picture yourself climbing a rock. It's hard and steep, and you might wonder why you started in the first place. Here's the thing, though. Every step up that peak makes you stronger. Stoicism, a theory that is as old as the hills but as new as the sun rising tomorrow, says that the best way to live is to face and overcome obstacles. The year is 2024, so let's make our daily grind our own Everest. You might be thinking, that sounds like a lot of work, right? Stoicism, however, does not entail a quick change. It's about slow, small changes. Set a goal that is challenging but not impossible to reach. It might be getting in better shape, learning a new skill, or even just reading one book a month. Being able to reach your goal is more important than the goal itself. Every little win helps you climb the mountain. Remember that climbing a mountain isn't something you do by yourself. Tell other people about your problems and your successes. Stoicism shows us how important it is to share and help each other. Sharing your journey will not only help you, but it will also motivate other people to start their own climbs. Let's push ourselves, help each other, and enjoy the view from our own peaks as we move into 2024. Have fun climbing. Have more fun. Not only is laughing more a good idea, it's essential to living a happy life. In line with the Stoics' wise words, take Sippus, a Stoic philosopher who is said to have died of laughter. Even though that's a very extreme case, it shows a very important truth. Laughing is a serious business. It's something that helps us carry our problems and see them in a new way. Think for a moment about how silly life's little tragedies would seem if you looked at them through the lens of humor. When your coffee spills, you don't get mad. Instead, you laugh at the universe's strange timing. That's Stoicism at work, telling us that not all problems need to be taken seriously. What can be done to make more laughing a part of everyday life? It's not as hard as you think. Start by looking for the funny side of things that happen every day. Stop and go. This is your chance to listen to your favorite funny show. Having a rough day at work? Trade stories with your friends to see who can come up with the stranger ones. Not ignoring the complicated parts of life is not the point. The point is to choose a happy outlook, a realistic Stoic way of thinking. Take charge of your thoughts and actions, but let go of the things you can't change. Everyone laughs at the same tune. It brings us together and makes our trip a little better. So the next time you find something funny, send it to someone else. Be that person who makes other people smile. Your joy spreads and changes people's lives in ways you may never know. To be Stoic, you have to find peace within yourself and spread it to others. Embracing life with joy is just as important as bearing it with stoicism. Feel free to laugh some more. Plus, it's wise advice that has been passed down through the years. Love your luck. Love your luck. It sounds like a lot to ask, doesn't it? Stoicism's age-old knowledge, however, meets our fast-paced, tech-savvy world at this point. Stoicism isn't about keeping your feelings in check or facing pain with a stiff upper lip. Being cheerful about everything life throws at you is what it's about. Think about how you surf. There will be big and small waves, but what matters is how well you can ride them. In a world where fate can be anything from missing your Uber to having a very important email disappear into thin air, how do you love your fate? Start by changing the way you think. If something goes wrong, look at it as a chance to get better. Do you miss that Uber? You can go for a quick walk and enjoy the fresh air. Email is gone? It's time to get better at technology. It's not about being overly positive, but about seeing the good in every bad thing. You can't just make the best of a bad situation with this method. You have to turn problems into stepping stones. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, said that what gets in the way becomes the way. This means that the things that are stopping you can actually help you reach your goals. If your Wi-Fi goes down during a crucial call, don't get angry. Instead, enjoy the world without your devices. You could talk to someone close or write down those creative thoughts you've been putting off. To put it simply, liking your fate means accepting that life is uncertain with grace and speed. It means dancing in the rain instead of waiting for the storm to end. As 2024 goes on, remember that life is not just happening to you, it's also happening for you. Every bump, turn and tumble is a chance to get smarter, stronger and happy. Smile as you ride those waves and watch how your world changes. Imagine not having to worry about money all the time. Imagine being financially free, mentally satisfied and truly happy. Yes, it does sound like a dream. Now you can make that dream come true. We are going to talk about some things that most poor people do. They should not be done by you. Not only are we talking about getting rich, but also about developing an attitude that brings wealth, peace, and happiness. I promise that by the end of this movie, you will have a whole new perspective on your finances and your life in general. What's the point of listening? You don't just want to survive, you want to live a good life. Stay tuned, because right now is the start of the path to financial freedom and a happy life. The first rule is to stop spending more than you can afford. This might seem like simple, obvious advice, but you'd be surprised at how often people forget to follow it. We see a lot of ads every day that tell us to buy different things and say that the latest tool or stylish outfit will make our lives better in some way. Shopping for things we don't need is so tempting. Before we know it, we're living paycheck to paycheck and have a pile of debt hanging over our heads. Too many people get stuck in this loop of constant buying. Here's where the Stoic idea of self-control comes in handy. Being a slave to our wants is not what Stoicism tells us. It's not right to let material things decide how happy we are. We should instead be happy with what we have and fight the urge to always want more. This doesn't mean we can't treat ourselves once in a while, but we should be smart about it and think about how much money we have. So how do we live by this concept every day? We must first tell the difference between what we need and what we want. We can't live without things like food, a place to live, and basic clothes. On the other hand, wants are things we want but don't need, like the newest iPhone, expensive clothes, or a fancy car. When we can tell the difference between the two, we can make smart choices about how to spend our money. Don't forget the story of the hare and the turtle. We don't want to be the hare that rapidly and carelessly uses up its resources in the race of life. We'd rather be like the turtle. Even though it moves more slowly, it is more careful and controlled. It is always moving forward without risking getting tired. Mindful spending and being frugal are not about stopping yourself or not getting the good things in life. It has to do with making smart choices so you can live a good life without worrying about money all the time. It's about making sure your future is safe. Imagine having enough money saved up to handle unexpected costs without getting stressed out. Imagine not having any debt and being able to spend more time with your family, try new hobbies, or start your own business. Imagine having enough money saved to live on after you retire without worrying about running out of money. All of these things are possible if you don't spend more than you earn. Following this concept takes self-control. It might seem hard at first, especially if you're used to spending money without thinking, but I promise you that the peace of mind that comes with being financially stable is worth every bit of work. Go ahead and take that first step toward financial independence. Review how you spend your money, make a list of your needs and wants, and make a promise to live within your means. Do not forget that this is not about giving up things. It's about making better choices that will give you financial freedom and peace of mind and let you live, not just survive. Not to mention that's what we all want. Do you not think that's a life worth aiming for? The first Stoic concept has such power, not just about money, it's also about developing an attitude that will help you live a happy, successful life. We're just getting started. Watch this space as we talk about the next steps on our way to becoming financially free and growing as a person. After talking about the first principle, which is to live within your means, let's look more closely at the second principle, which is just as important. Don't ignore your finances. People often say, ignorance is bliss. But when it comes to money, stupidity can lead you down a slippery slope toward financial trouble. Being wise is an important part of Stoicism, which means being very aware of your situation. In terms of money, this means being fully aware of your financial situation. But a lot of people make the mistake of ignoring their money problems, maybe because they are afraid, embarrassed, or just plain careless. But remember that the first step to fixing your finances is to admit that they are a mess, no matter how bad they are. Think of your money as a yard for a moment. When you're not looking after your yard, plants will grow, bugs may come in, and your once beautiful space will slowly turn into a mess of dirt and weeds. But if you pay regular attention and care for your garden, you can keep the bugs away, feed the plants, and grow a healthy garden. The same idea applies to our money. Regular and careful tracking lets you find problems quickly, fix them, and make the changes you need to keep your financial garden growing. Also, being grounded in reality is an important part of Stoicism. Stoics think that we should see things as they really are, without any false ideas or fantasies. How you handle your money should be based on this concept. Look at your earnings, bills, spending, assets, and saves. Know the source and destination of your money. Recognizing the truth about your finances can be scary, but it's an important step toward building a strong base for long-term growth and security. Additionally, avoiding your finances can cause you to develop bad money habits. Without a clear picture of your finances, it's easy to spend more than you have, save too little, and invest without thinking things through. But knowing about your money gives you the power to make smart choices that help you reach your financial goals. Taking a Stoic view of your money also means being responsible for it. It means realizing that the things you do, choose, and how you act affect your financial health. You can't solve your money problems by blaming other people or things. This just avoids taking responsibility and keeps you in a loop of financial trouble. Finally, don't forget that you are in charge of your money. Follow this attitude as you learn about money and become financially independent. Pay attention to your money, be responsible with it, and use it to build the life you want. Let's stop ignoring your money and start giving it the care and attention it deserves. Following on from the last point, we will now talk about one of the most important principles. Principle number 3. Stop connecting wealth with happiness. We have reached a major turning point on our path to a happy life. People in our society have been taught that money and happiness go hand in hand. It's common to think that having more stuff will make us happy. Unfortunately, this couldn't be further from the truth. Stoicism, a useful theory based on reason, perspective, and ethics, doesn't agree. This shows us that being good is the way to true happiness. Perhaps you're wondering what virtue has to do with being rich or happy. Actually, quite a bit. For the Stoics, virtue was the only thing that was good. Basically, the best way to be happy is to live a good life, one full of knowledge, courage, justice, and self-discipline. Wealth, on the other hand, comes from outside of us and can change, while virtue is something we can control. In the end, what matters is who we are and how we live our lives. Consider it. Everyone has heard stories about riches who are very sad and regular people who are happy with their lives. Happiness isn't tied to how much money you have. What really matters are how rich your character is and how good your deeds are. The same is true for material things. They are temporary. Their happiness doesn't last long. You get excited when you buy a new car at first, but that energy wears off after a while. The car ends up being just another thing you own, and you start looking for something younger, better, or bigger. It's like going on a hamster wheel. We can't stop wanting things. Although you run, you never really get anywhere. If you look for wealth in things like information, events, and relationships, you'll find happiness that lasts. Things that stay with you forever are the things you learn, the things you do, and the love you share. In ways that material things can't, they make your life better. They make you feel like your life has value and purpose. Actually, that's what wealth is. Don't forget that Stoicism tells us to be grateful for what we have. Gratitude is a form of wealth, according to Stoicism. You start to see that you have enough when you learn to be thankful for what you have. This feeling of being enough brings peace and happiness. In the end, it's important to change how you think about wealth and happiness. From looking to others for approval to looking to yourself for satisfaction, it's a journey. To understand that what makes you wealthy is not what you own, but who you are. It won't be easy to stop thinking that money makes you happy, but you need to do it if you want to be truly satisfied. And keep in mind what the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "The poor man is the one who wants more, not the one who has enough." Finally, I want you to think about the fourth principle, risks. Just hearing the word might make you feel a little scared or worried. This is normal. However, they often stop us from doing what we really want to do. St. Thomas Aquinas taught us that courage is a basic virtue. We shouldn't be afraid of failing or facing problems if it means taking risks. Consider this question: what is the one thing that sets successful people apart from unsuccessful ones? The courage to take chances belongs to the group. They get out of their comfort zone, are open to the unknown, and take on obstacles head-on. They know that taking chances is what makes them grow, learn, and achieve in the end. How does this affect you? It's about how you think about risk. Instead of seeing it as something you might lose, try seeing it as something you might gain. It means changing your attitude so that you see problems as opportunities to grow. Take a look at the seed that is hidden. It takes a big chance by leaving itself open to the weather, animals that might eat it, and the chance of dying. So it has to take this risk in order to grow. Its roots have to break through the ground, reach for the sun, and grow into a beautiful, strong tree. Similarly, when it comes to money, taking chances could mean putting money into a new business, trying a different job path, or choosing to save or invest money instead of spending it right away on things that make us happy. Some things might not go as planned, but others might turn out even better than you think. But keep in mind that I don't mean being careless when I say taking risks. Stoicism supports taking deliberate, well-thought-out risks. This needs information, wisdom, and an understanding of your specific situation, which brings us back to our earlier ideas about being self-aware and always learning. It's true, my friends. Life is full of risks. There's some danger in every choice we make. We can find a lot of great chances if we accept these risks instead of dodging them. These risks help us change, grow, and get closer to our goals, whether they are to be financially independent, improve ourselves, or be happy with our lives in general. Let's take this road with courage. In order to become better, smarter, and more successful people, we should be willing to take chances. Going after the life you want is one step at a time. Any problem you solve is a brick in the basis of your financial success. Moving on to the fifth concept, which is to stop putting off personal growth, let's build on the idea of personal responsibility. Remember that as a Stoic, you should see things getting better and better all the time, like how a tree keeps growing and reaching for the sky. You may be wondering what personal growth is all about. It's about getting better at what you do. It means spending time and money on improving your general health, learning new things, and getting better at things you already know how to do. In order to stay competitive in today's fast-paced world, we need to keep learning new things and improving our skills, just like software needs regular changes to stay useful and up to date. Let's look at a trap that a lot of people fall into: the safety zone. Everything is relaxed and comfortable here. While it's cozy and safe, growth is slowed down there. Some people say that their comfort zone is lovely, but nothing ever grows there. The safety zone is compared to a pond that is still in Stoic philosophy. It's calm and doesn't change, but it also makes things break down. But leaving your safe zone is like going into a fast-moving river. Yes, the currents can be strong and scary, but they also carry life and energy, which is what makes change and growth possible. Personal growth isn't a nice-to-have, it's a must. Forever learning means having the courage to leave your comfort zone and start doing new things. The world we live in is always changing. If we stop learning, we might not be able to do things anymore. Sharks have to keep moving to stay alive, and so do we. To stay relevant and competitive, we have to keep learning. Let's talk about another part of personal growth: putting money into yourself. In this case, you might have to put your personal growth ahead of fun activities or spending money you don't need to. Making choices that are in line with your long-term goals is what it's all about, not giving up a lot. Last but not least, mental growth is a process, not a goal. It's about making progress, not getting everything right. Adopt the Stoic idea of always learning and growing. Use your strength to become the best person you can be. Every day brings a new chance to learn something, get better, go bigger, or see things from a different point of view. So take advantage of these chances. Remember that your personal growth can affect your cash growth, so don't put off working on yourself. Spend some money on yourself and see how your life changes for the better. As we keep going through our Stoic rules, let's get to the sixth one. Don't blame other people. Stoic thought is based on this concept, which is about taking responsibility for one's own actions and relying on oneself. Don't blame others for our problems. If we want to get ahead financially and in life in general, we need to take responsibility for our actions. Perhaps you're wondering why this is important. It's easier for us to blame situations, people, or processes in the world we live in. We give up power and control over our lives when we do this. On our trips, we stop being active players and start being victims. At first glance, it might look like it would be nice. We shouldn't be responsible if someone else is to blame, right? But that's where the trap is. When we put the blame on other people for our money problems or mistakes, we give up our power to change, learn, and grow. The exact opposite is what Stoicism tells us. In other words, it tells us to own our choices, our behaviors, and eventually our lives. It means realizing that we have the power to change our financial situations. By changing the way we think, we go from being silent viewers to being active producers of our own lives. We move from the passenger seat to the driver's seat and steer our lives in the way we really want them to go. Take a look at an example. Let us say you rack up a lot of credit card debt. You can say that it's because of high loan rates or the need to spend that people feel. However, we did choose to swipe that card, right? Just because we admit this doesn't mean we have to live a life of guilt and self-blame. Instead, it means we are letting ourselves learn from our mistakes so we can make better choices in the future. Taking personal responsibility means realizing that our choices and actions have a direct effect on our finances. Yes, outside forces do matter, but how we respond to them is much more important. Let's look at the recent outbreak. That was bad for business because a lot of people lost their jobs. Some people, though, used this time to improve themselves, learn new skills, or even start a business, which gave them new ways to make money. That's the power of being responsible for your own actions. No matter what, it lets us change, come up with new ideas, and win. The Stoic idea of the division of control, which means knowing what is within our power and what is not, is connected to this theory as well. We may not be able to change the economy, the job market, or the rate of inflation, but we can change how we spend our money, how we feel about it, and how committed we are to learning about money and growing our finances. Lastly, don't blame other people is not just a rule, it's a way of life. It means being responsible, learning from our mistakes, and always trying to get better. To be financially free and live a happy life, we need to realize that the key is not in outside forces, but in ourselves. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus put it, we are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them. So let's accept it. Continuing from the last principle, let's look at Principle 7. Stop living your life to make other people happy. This Stoic principle, which urges us to live by our own ideals rather than those that are frequently forced on us, is deeply ingrained in Stoic thought. In this digital age, there is even more pressure to fit in and meet other people's standards. People often want us to live lives that aren't true to who we are in order to be liked or accepted by others. This practice even affects how we handle our money and wealth. We often spend more on our own financial well-being than we need to in order to keep up with the Joneses in terms of lifestyle, belongings, and social standing. We should fight this urge and stop living our lives to please other people, as the Stoic principle of freedom tells us to do. Focusing on our trip, our way to becoming financially independent, is what we should do instead. We need to keep our eyes on the road, just like marathon runners do. Looking at other runners, or in this case, how other people are handling their money, can distract us and make us make bad decisions about our own money. How, though, can we start living by this rule? First, it's about knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what your goals are. What do you think it means to be financially successful? Plan your spending with your money. It is very important to have a clear picture of your cash goals. The next step is to make a cash plan that fits these goals. It's important that this plan is reasonable and unique to you, something that shouldn't be affected by what other people have or do. And finally, it's about being strong. It's always going to be hard to fit in and live your life to please other people. To keep things in perspective, know that your trip is special. It's only you who can get you to financial freedom and success. Getting behind this concept will take time. You have to be patient, persistent, and think a lot about yourself. But there are big benefits. Stop trying to please other people, and you'll find that you not only take charge of your money, but also of your life. Since you're living your true life, you're less stressed and, in the end, happy. In the end, don't let social forces affect the choices you make about your money. Trust your beliefs to lead you as you work to become financially independent. As the saying goes, the race is long, and you're the only one left in it. As we continue our path to financial freedom and happiness, we reach our last and possibly most important principle. Stop fighting change. We often fight change, even though it's necessary. We like to stick to what we know and what makes us feel safe. However, Stoicism teaches us to accept and welcome change, to know that life is temporary, and to change as needed. Because it's when we can change that we really do well. Consider it. The changing of the seasons, the rising and setting of the sun, and the waves are all signs of how life is always changing. In the same way that a river changes over time, so does life. We need to learn how to change with the times and not fight them. In terms of our money, this idea means that economic situations are always changing. The job market changes, interest rates go up and down, and old businesses go out of style. Doubt is the only thing that is certain. Then the problem is not to fight this change, but to figure out how to get through it. Putting off change in our money situations can show up in a lot of different ways. Maybe you can't accept that the industry you work in is dying and you're not learning any new skills. It could be that it keeps investing in the same way, even though it's not working. Or it could be the fear of making new investments and missing out on chances to make money. We need to change the way we think before we can stop fighting change. There is no doubt that change can be hard, but it can also lead to great chances and more money. Don't forget that a worm has to change in order to become a butterfly. It has wings now that things have changed. The next thing we need to do is learn. Fear makes us less likely to change, and knowledge makes us less afraid. Keep up with economic trends, business possibilities, and the best ways to handle your money. The key to navigating the sea of change is to know what you're doing. Third, try to keep a fair view. Know that changes can bring good and bad things. Not unlike a coin, change has two sides. A job loss could lead to a more satisfying career. A bad investment could teach you important lessons, and a cash setback could help you develop resilience and creativity. Finally, learn to adapt. Being rigid in the face of change is like a tree that doesn't move when it storms. It's likely to break. For example, a tree that moves with the wind can stand up to a storm. Also, being adaptable with your money plans, job choices, and business choices can help you get through times of economic change. Remember that the world is a blank surface that changes all the time, and you are the artist. If you have the right attitude, information, viewpoint, and ability to be flexible, you can paint a picture of being financially successful and happy. Adapting to change isn't just about making money. It's about living a full life. It has to do with changing, growing, and learning. It's about turning the pages of your life and finding out what you're really capable of. Let's stop being against change now. Let's welcome it, because it leads to real freedom and happiness. Have you ever been disrespected by someone and not known what to do, or felt lost, angry, or overwhelmed? If so, you are about to start a journey that will change your life and give you the resilience and knowledge to not only deal with disrespect, but grow in it. Imagine being able to stay calm and treat people with respect, even when things are tough. Choose a world where rude people and bad things can't affect your peace of mind and sense of self-worth. That world isn't just a dream. We're about to find out this truth together. There are a lot of disagreements and bad encounters in the world. These lessons will help you understand the old secrets of Stoic philosophy. Let's look at 20 strong lessons that will teach you how to handle rude people with unwavering strength and kindness. Our content isn't just theory. It's a useful guide full of real-life examples and tips that you can use right away. This will make sure you're ready to handle rude situations with confidence. You've come to the right place if you want to learn how to keep your cool when things get tough and turn problems into chances to grow. Finally, if you want to take charge of your feelings and actions, if you want to rise above bad things and do well in every situation, then stick with us until the end. Welcome to your path to becoming a better person. 1. Stay calm. Do not let rudeness change how you feel. Remember that what counts is how you see the disrespect, not the rudeness itself. As we go about our daily lives, we come across people who treat us badly by making rude comments, treating us badly, or insulting us directly. How we react to these situations can have a big effect on our mental health and the way the exchange turns out in the end. The Stoic way of dealing with disrespect is based on the idea that what hurts us is not the rude act itself, but how we see and understand it. From this point of view, we are reminded that we can control our feelings even when someone is being rude to us. For example, let's say you brought up an idea at work and got tough feedback from a coworker. It's easy to get angry or hurt in this situation, but if you adopt a Stoic attitude, you can choose to see the criticism as a difference of opinion instead of an attack on your person. You know that what they say about you is based on their own feelings and thoughts, and not a real reflection of your worth or skills. The Stoic idea says that what bothers us is not what happens to us, but how we think about it. This method fits with that idea. You can stay cool and react more logically if you separate the rude behavior from your emotional response. This doesn't mean you're putting up with the disrespect. It just means you've chosen to deal with it with grace and self-control. Not only do you protect your own mental health, but you also show strength and resilience. It's a way to show that you follow the Stoic theory and are not quickly moved by outside events or other people's views. In the end, staying calm when someone treats you badly can lead to better relationships and personal growth. 2. Looking at yourself. Think about your actions to see if the disrespect is true, and think about how you can grow as a person and improve your emotional intelligence. Thinking about yourself can be very helpful, especially when you have to deal with rude behavior. It means taking a step back and thinking about what you did and how you responded. You should try to find worth in the feedback you've gotten, even if it's rude. Let us look at this with an example. Let's say a coworker says something bad about your most recent job. Instead of rejecting their opinion as disrespectful right away, think about whether there might be some truth to it. Could your work be better, or is there a different point of view that you should think about? You're following the Stoic method of self-reflection and using common sense to deal with the problem. You don't have to take advice that isn't fair when you think about your behavior. Instead, it's a chance to grow and get better. There is a chance for you to look past the rude tone and find useful information that can help you grow personally and professionally. By making this a habit, you show that you're mature and dedicated to self-improvement, and you also show others that you're open to helpful feedback, no matter how it comes. Being self-aware is a good thing that not only helps you grow as a person, but it also makes relationships better by making helpful feedback something you value instead of something you fear. Third, take a moment to breathe. When someone treats you badly, take a moment to think about what you want to say before you speak. In today's fast-paced world, pausing and taking a deep breath can help us stay calm during rude behavior. This practice strongly echoes the Stoics' knowledge, telling us that how we react to outside events is often more important than the events themselves. Let's say you're in a meeting and someone makes fun of your thoughts or suggestions. When you're angry or frustrated, it's easy to act quickly. However, the Stoic idea of stopping to gather your thoughts requires courage. Step back in your mind, take a deep breath, and calm yourself. In doing this, you're admitting that you can choose how to respond. You've decided not to let your feelings control you right now. You can clear your mind, separate yourself from the original hormonal rush, and react from a place of focus and self-control. This is the beauty of this method. You don't have to react on the spot when you deal with disrespect. You can be more thoughtful and forceful. By using this Stoic approach, you not only keep your emotions in check, but you also make it easier for people to connect with you in a more constructive and polite way. That amount of calm and knowledge you're showing can leave a lasting impact on many people. In the end, it's a practice that helps you handle disrespect with grace and strength instead of letting your feelings get the best of you. 4. Show empathy. Try to see things from the other person's point of view and figure out why they are acting disrespectfully. When someone treats you badly, empathy can help you deal with it. To show empathy, put yourself in their shoes, even if they're not the most comfy ones. This is when Stoicism really shows how it can help people understand and care about others when they are being disrespectful. Put yourself in a situation where someone's actions seem rude. Instead of getting angry right away, think about what they might be trying to say or do. Could it be their own doubts or fears, or maybe they don't have enough knowledge or background? You can tap into a deep well of understanding when you show care and try to see things from their point of view. You might not just defend yourself if a coworker says something rude during a discussion. Instead, you might pause and ask yourself, what could be going on in their world that's causing them to react this way? This way, you acknowledge that their behavior might be a reflection of their own inner turmoil, rather than a direct attack on you. According to the Stoics, empathy doesn't explain or justify rude behavior. Instead, it's a way to ease pressures and create a better, more positive environment. You're not taking the person who was rude to you personally when you relate to what they're going through. You've chosen to react with respect and kindness instead. By doing this, you're living up to the Stoic ideals of knowledge, kindness, and personal growth. By not giving in to other people's actions, you show that you're not easily moved, and you open the door to more peaceful and helpful interactions, even when disrespect is shown. 5. Pay attention to character. When someone treats you badly, you should respond in a way that shows your beliefs and virtues and keeps your honor. The Stoic concept of focusing on virtue provides a deep viewpoint when it comes to dealing with disrespect. Even when things go wrong, you should stay true to your core ideals and beliefs. Let's look at an example. Imagine that someone treated you badly because of what they said or did. Maintaining your honor by acting in a way that is aligned with your values and virtues is the Stoic method in such situations. For example, if being kind is one of your core values, you might choose to reply to disrespect with understanding and sensitivity, trying to calm things down instead of getting angry. If honesty is very important to you, you could deal with the disrespect in a strong but kind way, staying true to your values while still honoring the other person's worth. This method shows that you are steadfastly committed to your beliefs, even when things get tough. Focusing your answer on virtue will not only help you keep your honor, but it will also show that you are devoted to your beliefs, that you can handle the rude behavior and react with humility and self-control shows that you care. In the end, focusing on virtue helps you keep your sense of self and makes encounters more respectful and honorable. The Stoic philosophy, which prioritizes inner virtue over outward conditions, is embodied in this. Sixth, giving in. Know that being disrespected is a part of life and focus on the things you can change. Dealing with disrespect by accepting it is like accepting the Stoic knowledge that life isn't always easy and we can't control everything. In this idea, we are encouraged to accept that disrespect is a part of life and how we handle it is what gives us power. Just think of a time when someone treated you badly. Instead of thinking about what you did wrong, you might want to focus on what you can change, such as you have power over your own feelings, behaviors, and how you choose to respond. To be in line with the Stoic philosophy's idea of the split of control, you must realize that you have control over your inner reactions, but not over outside events or other people's behavior. This way of doing things gives you a unique view. It means realizing that you have power over how you respond to disrespect, but not over how other people treat you. As a result, you won't have to carry around the extra weight of anger and bitterness that often comes with being treated badly. When you follow the Stoic concept of acceptance, you're not just putting up with disrespect, you choose to be unaffected by it. You're putting your attention on what's important and your energy into things where you can make a change. This practice makes you more aware of your inner strength and resilience, and how problems in life, like being disrespected, are not unsolvable, but rather chances to grow and master yourself. Seventh, be funny. When someone insults you, use fun to calm down the situation. It's a modest but strong art to use humor as a reaction to rudeness. It's a strategy that embodies the Stoic idea of finding humor in difficult times, and it can help ease tension. Think about a situation where someone treats you badly. You could get back at them with a bit of fun instead of getting angry or defensive. For instance, if someone says something mean or condescending, you could respond with something funny or smart. You're not ignoring the rudeness when you do this. You're just changing the tone of the conversation. This method recognizes that rude behavior can be caused by feelings of insecurity or anger, and a funny answer can catch them off guard, changing the tone of the talk. You're showing emotional intelligence and self-control by using humor. You're also accepting the Stoic idea that what defines us is not what happens to us, but how we respond to it. You've chosen to rise above the bad vibes and make things better, even though people are being rude. This practice isn't meant to downplay or ignore the rudeness. Instead, it's a way to ease stress and encourage more polite and useful encounters. A sign of Stoic strength and adaptability is that you can stay calm and come up with creative solutions. Eighth, make rules. Be firm and set clear limits, and demand that others treat you with respect. Setting limits is a sign of self-respect and a basic way to deal with rudeness. It means letting people know how valuable you are and that you expect to be treated with respect no matter what. Imagine a case in which someone in your life, like a coworker or a friend, treats you badly all the time. The Stoic way to deal with things is to set clear limits and make it clear that you want to be treated with respect. You could say something like, "I value our interactions, but I won't put up with disrespectful comments or behavior. If we're going to keep working together or being around each other, I expect to be treated with respect." Being assertive shows that you're standing up for your values and being honest. It's not an act of anger or revenge to set limits. It's a pledge to your own health and sense of self-worth. Making this choice makes it clear that you won't be a doormat, and it shows that you respect yourself enough to expect others to do the same. The Stoic maxim of concentrating on what you can control is supported by this strategy. You can't change how other people act, but you can set your own rules and demand that they be treated with care. By doing this, you're showing the Stoic virtues of courage and justice, and you're also making it more likely that people will treat you with the respect and dignity you deserve. Number 9. Forgiveness. You can let go of bad feelings, find inner peace, and grow as a person by choosing to forgive. When it comes to dealing with rudeness, forgiving someone is a lot like taking care of yourself and growing. It's about deciding not to carry around the heavy load of bad feelings that come with rude behavior, and instead finding peace within yourself and growing as a person. What is an example of a time when someone treated you badly? If you don't want to hold on to anger, bitterness, or the need for payback, you could choose to forgive. It is not an easy choice, but it is a strong one. Forgiving someone in this Stoic sense doesn't mean forgetting or okaying the disrespect. It means choosing to let go of the bad feelings that are making you unhappy. When you forgive, you break free from the chains of anger and hurt and choose a road of peace within yourself. This is not a sign of weakness. It is a huge sign of strength. Your mental intelligence and resilience are rewarded by this. Not only does accepting someone make you feel better, but it also helps you grow as a person. You're showing that your own happiness and peace are more important to you than the short-term pleasure of carrying a grudge. By practicing this Stoic act of forgiving, you're recognizing that you have the power to change how you feel. Instead of letting other people's rude behavior get you down, you've decided to focus on your own growth and well-being. Knowing yourself and having the courage to do this can make your life more peaceful and satisfying. Expand your view. See things in a bigger picture to understand that disrespect is usually not a big deal in the big picture. When dealing with rudeness, changing your point of view can make a big difference. This is in line with the Stoic philosophy's call for a wider, more informed view on life's problems. Imagine this. Someone has been rude to you, and it's bothering you. You could choose to see things in a broader way instead of letting it take over your thoughts. You tell yourself that these acts of disrespect are usually small parts of life's bigger picture. This shift in viewpoint serves as a warning that life is full of events, some big and some small. Disrespect is more often than not in the second group. By moving your attention from the hurtful feeling of being disrespected to the bigger picture of your life, you're choosing not to let these events control your thoughts. By practicing this Stoic habit, you accept the wise idea that our thoughts create our world. You're not downplaying your feelings by realizing how disrespectful something is compared to the bigger picture. You're just choosing not to let those feelings define your whole experience. Changing your point of view doesn't mean ignoring or putting up with disrespect. It means putting it in its proper place so you can react with calm and knowledge. Emotional intelligence and resilience are improved through this exercise. It can also lead to a more peaceful and satisfying life, where small problems don't bother you as much. Keep your cool. When dealing with rude behavior, keep your cool and don't react on impulse. Keeping your cool when someone treats you badly is like following the Stoic philosophy's advice to act logically and calmly instead of letting your feelings take over. Imagine that someone treats you badly, like by making a rude comment or acting like they don't care about you. So instead of reacting right away on impulse, you choose to be self-controlled. You stop, take a deep breath, and think about what to say before you answer. By doing this practice, you're admitting that strong feelings can make you act without thinking, which can lead to bad choices and bigger problems. It means realizing that you have full power over your own emotions, but not over how other people act. By exercising self-control, you are essentially adhering to the Stoic maxim that what bothers you is not what happens, but how you perceive it. You're not letting the disrespect make you angry right away. Instead, you're giving yourself time to react more carefully and quietly. Emotional understanding and resilience are shown by this exercise, that you can react with knowledge and self-control even when someone treats you badly, shows that you're not easily moved by outside events. Reflecting the essence of Stoic strength and calm, it is a practice that encourages fruitful encounters and maintains your own honor. Focus on what's important. Instead of focusing on rudeness, put your energy into your goals, beliefs, and virtues. One important way to deal with disrespect is to focus on what really counts, which is very in line with Stoic ideals. It's about putting your energy into things that are in line with your goals, values, and virtues, instead of letting rude behavior drag you down. Imagine that you've been treated badly, and you want to dwell on the situation, letting it control your feelings and thoughts. To be Stoic, you need to change your mindset. That person was rude, but you choose to focus on what really means to you instead. Reviewing your personal or professional goals, going over your core values, or thinking about the virtues you value could help you do this. You're following the Stoic view that inner character is more important than outside conditions by doing that. This practice isn't about ignoring or making light of rudeness. It's about realizing that you can use your mental and emotional energy more effectively on things that help you grow and be healthy. Realizing that you choose to put your energy into the things that really matter is a way to show that you are in charge of what you do. Focusing on what's important is a habit that helps you stay true to your own ideals and goals, because it shows that you're not letting rudeness get in the way of your future plans. As you keep working toward a life that is in line with your greatest goals despite any obstacles, it is a testament to your Stoic strength and resilience. Active listening is important. Pay attention to the rude person to better understand their problems or worries. The ability to actively listen is like having superpowers, especially when dealing with rude people. It means paying attention to what the other person is saying, even if it doesn't show respect. In the world of Stoicism, this practice fits in nicely with the idea of being kind and understanding. Picture yourself in a position where someone is treating you badly. Instead of getting angry or closing them out, you choose to listen. If they're being rude, you still want to know what their real worries are. It shows that you want to see the bigger picture, that you put this together. You understand that the person's rudeness could have a deeper cause, like anger, fear, or a completely different point of view. When you listen actively, you can see through the rudeness and get to the real problems. It's not about allowing or accepting rude behavior with this Stoic attitude. It's about encouraging understanding and sensitivity. When you listen carefully, you show that you're not letting their bad behavior make you get defensive. You've chosen to react with interest and kindness instead. Using active listening in your answers is a way to live by the Stoic ideals of knowledge, kindness, and personal growth. It shows that you are emotionally intelligent and want to have more positive and respectful interactions, even when someone is being rude. Do not escalate. If someone treats you badly, don't treat them badly back. Instead, try to calm down the situation. Stopping rudeness from getting worse is a real sign of knowledge and strength. This practice comes from Stoicism and stresses the need to calm down instead of reacting to disrespect with more disrespect. Picture a situation in which someone is rude or insulting to you. It's easy to respond with words or deeds that are just as rude. The Stoic method, however, takes a different route. You choose to de-escalate the issue instead of making it worse. You answer in a calm and polite way, even if the other person doesn't. Recognizing that reacting with disrespect only makes things worse and doesn't lead to positive or peaceful relationships is what this practice is all about. You're showing Stoic concepts of emotional intelligence and self-control by not making things worse. You're showing that you don't get upset quickly or get involved in fights that aren't necessary. Even when people are rude, your goal is to make the place more peaceful and useful. It's not a sign of weakness to do this, but of inner strength and resilience. It shows that you can handle rude behavior and react with class and poise. In the end, it makes the setting better and more polite, and it protects your own honor. Teach other people. If someone is being disrespectful because they don't know anything about the subject, use the chance to teach them. Educating others is a chance to learn and grow, especially when rudeness comes from not knowing something. It's a practice that fits perfectly with Stoic ideas because it helps people be wise and kind when rude people treat them badly. Say you meet someone who is rude because they don't know enough about a subject to understand it properly. You choose to teach them instead of getting defensive. You carefully share what you know and how you see things about the subject, hoping to fill in the gaps of knowledge. By doing this, you're showing the Stoic idea that the fact that all people are linked can make relationships better. By teaching others, you not only clear up their confusion, but you also encourage kindness and understanding between people. Stoic ideals of knowledge and kindness are present in this strategy. That shows how dedicated you are to improving yourself and the people around you. It shows the idea that even when someone is disrespectful, reacting with kindness and teaching can be a strong way to change things. By teaching others, you're taking the high road, which could lead to better relationships and maybe even a more educated view for the person who is being disrespectful. It's a representation of Stoic strength that helps you grow, and the people you meet grow as well. Look for a mediator. A neutral third person, also known as a referee, can sometimes help settle disagreements. It can be smart and effective to go to mediation, especially when there is ongoing rudeness or a problem that doesn't seem to be going away. The Stoic principle of looking for answers and peace in the face of difficulty is reflected in this strategy. Imagine that you are in a situation where disrespect is a repeating theme and it's getting harder and harder for you to solve it on your own. In this case, having a mediator step in and act as a neutral third party can make all the difference. This practice is about being aware that feelings can get out of hand, and that conversation might break down when you try to talk to the person who is disrespectful directly. By their very nature, mediators are fair and good at helping people have productive conversations. You're showing that you want to find a peaceful and respectful answer by going to mediation. You're admitting that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, but a sign of your desire to solve the problem in a way that treats everyone with respect. Stoic ideals of knowledge, justice, and courage are in line with this method. It shows how emotionally intelligent you are and how well you can make decisions that are good for everyone. Mediation is a strong way to ease disagreements and reach a more peaceful and fair conclusion. It helps people understand each other and, in many cases, makes it easier for people to get along and grow as people. Keep your faith up. Remember how valuable you are, and don't let disrespect make you doubt your own worth. Stoic virtues are closely linked to your sense of self-worth, and one of them is keeping your cool when treated badly. It's about knowing how valuable you are and not letting rude people bring down your self-esteem. Imagine that you are with someone who is rude, either by what they say or how they act. You don't take their rudeness to heart and let it lower your self-worth. Instead, you choose to believe in your own worth. This action shows what Stoic strength looks like. It's a statement that your sense of self-worth is not based on what other people think or do. You know that disrespecting someone often says more about them than it does about you. The Stoic concept that your worth comes from within, from your own beliefs and virtues, is upheld by keeping your confidence. It's a practice that shows your inner fortitude and dedication to upholding your own values in the face of adversity. Trust is basically your defense against being disrespected. It shows that you won't let outside bad things affect you, and it's a mirror of the Stoic view that you can keep your pride and sense of self-worth no matter what other people do. Keep your mind on it. Focus on improving yourself and growing as a person instead of getting caught up in rude exchanges. A strong way to deal with rudeness is to keep your mind on growing and improving yourself. It's a method that has its roots in Stoic philosophy and emphasizes the importance of focusing on one's own growth rather than getting involved in unsavory situations. Consider a time when someone treated you badly and you might want to get into a fight or argument that doesn't help. You choose to keep your focus on personal growth instead of letting situations that could lead to disagreement bother you. The Stoic idea that your inner virtue is the greatest good is perfectly aligned with this practice. By working on your own growth, you show that you're determined to become the best version of yourself, no matter what other people say or do. That you have full control over your own actions and answers, even though you can't change how other people act. You are upholding the Stoic principle, which states that your true worth comes from your virtues and beliefs, by putting your energy into improving yourself. There's no need to avoid disagreement or disrespect with this method. Instead, it's about choosing to grow in a way that makes your life more satisfying and good. In putting your own growth and well-being ahead of unhelpful exchanges, you show Stoic strength and resilience. Learn to be thankful. To keep things in perspective, remind yourself of the good things in your life. Being grateful when someone treats you badly is a powerful Stoic practice that helps you keep your cool. It's about telling yourself of the good things in your life, even when bad things are happening. Just think about a time when someone's rude behavior made you angry or annoyed. Focusing on the good things instead of the bad things helps you avoid focusing on the bad things. Maybe it's your health, the people you care about, or the chances you've had in life. The Stoic way of thinking, which pushes us to enjoy the good things in life and not let outside events bother us too much, is perfectly consistent with this practice. By showing thanks, you're basically telling yourself that disrespect doesn't define your general health, even if it changes your mood for a short time. It has to do with keeping things in perspective and in balance. Having gratitude in your life keeps you from losing sight of the good things in it, even when things are bad. This practice shows Stoic strength by showing that you can handle problems in the outside world while still being peaceful and happy inside. Learn from being rude. Use situations with rudeness as chances to learn and grow as a person. Emotional intelligence and personal growth are both marked by the ability to learn from disrespect. It takes courage to turn bad things that happen to you into chances to grow and get better. Think about a time when someone treated you badly and it made you feel down. You choose to see the bad thing as a useful lesson instead of letting it stay. It makes you think about what you can learn about the other person and yourself from this. Stoic wisdom, which emphasizes that every situation, even the most difficult ones, can be a source of growth and knowledge, is perfectly in line with this practice. You show that you want to grow as a person by learning from disrespect, and you're also following the Stoic idea that the way you think affects the way your life turns out. It has to do with using problems to your benefit. You're looking for the bright side instead of dwelling on the bad. Displaying Stoic strength through this habit shows that you are not a subject of rude behavior, but rather someone who can use these experiences to grow as a person and become better and smarter. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you're always being ignored? Do you ever wonder why some people can easily get people's attention while others have a hard time keeping quiet? Today, we'll talk about 9 effective psychological strategies based on Stoic lessons that, once learned and put into practice, can increase your impact and make you a priority in any room you enter. that you might not even know you were using one of these methods because it is so subtle but so strong. By looking at things through the lens of Stoicism, you will not only learn more about the human mind, but you will also learn how to change the patterns of your talks, meetings, and even interactions that seem normal in your daily life. You should stick with me until the end, because each plan and piece of this puzzle builds on the last one. If you miss one, you'll miss the whole picture. Give off an air of mystery. As people, we are naturally interested in things we don't know or puzzles that beg to be solved. By keeping some of your identity a secret, you make people want to find you and find out what's really going on. Figuring out what to say and when to say, it doesn't mean being cold or remote. Sharing just enough to get people interested while keeping back enough to keep them guessing. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The point of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to avoid finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. In a world where people share too much, being more private will set you apart from the crowd and make sure you're heard. People around you will be more likely to listen to you and value your thoughts. But it's very important to make sure this doesn't turn into lying or trickery. Honesty is still very important. Being mysterious doesn't mean making up stories about yourself. It's about getting good at time and discovery. And as people learn more about you, they value your appearance and view more. Once you master this method, you'll be ready for one that has even more of an effect. As you go along this mysterious road, you'll discover that making people guess your next move can be very useful. It's not about playing games. It's about getting to know people's minds and using that knowledge to grow. Putting this first plan to use is just the start. The next plan will teach you a very powerful idea that could change the game and tip the odds in your favor. Make good use of the power of silence. You've been in a heated argument, a tough discussion, or even a casual chat where people's words are flying all over the place. You might want to join in and add your voice to the mix. The most powerful tool isn't always what you say, but when you choose not to. People often think of silence as passive, but it can be a powerful tool for shaping talks, claiming presence, and getting real respect. A lot of people think that being the loudest person in a room means you have power, but often it's the person who listens carefully to every word who really changes the story. Being the most powerful is more important than being the biggest. Think about the idea of pausing. When you hold back and let there be a brief break in talk or thought, you build expectation. Others get antsy or even worried, and they start to fill in the blanks, which often lets more slip than they meant to. This gives you room to react from a wise point of view. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." If you discipline your speech, you can direct conversations in any way you see fit. But deliberate quiet isn't just about listening. It's also about knowing when to speak up, how to make your words more powerful, and how much weight they carry. Every word you say should have a reason, not just to communicate, but also to change how someone sees you. In the end, words are not just ideas. They can change the way things are. A word of warning. The power of strategic silence needs to be used with care, just like any other tool. If you use it too much, you might come across as cold or uninterested. The key is to find a balance between actively listening and purposeful silence to keep your conversations real. Now, think about the huge number of options you have when you combine strategic silence with another powerful strategy that will make you more influential and ensure people not only see you, but also remember you. Learn how to tell convincing stories. Have you ever had trouble getting your point across? Do you ever wonder why some ideas work and others don't, even though they're good? It might be easier than you think to answer. Tell stories. Before there was technology, modern schools, and even writing, stories were very powerful. Stories have always been the secret force that shapes thoughts, actions and minds, from campfires in the Stone Age to popular videos today. It's all about how you see things. As Epictetus wisely said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." When you tell a story with your words, you give people a way to look at the situation that affects how they understand it and, in turn, how they respond. Storytelling is beautiful because it can make people feel like they're a part of the story, which makes them care about what you're saying and connect with it on a personal level. Let's say you're trying to get a group of people to take on a difficult job. Instead of just stating facts and numbers, tell a story of victory over hardship, of pioneers who went through similar problems and overcome them. Make connections between their problems and the job at hand to show that the path may be hard, but the benefits, both real and imagined, are worth it. The project stops being just another job and turns into a heroic quest. And who doesn't want to be the hero of their own story? But to use the power of stories, they need to be true. It is easy for people to tell when a story is made up or the only goal is to trick them. The goal is to find real feelings, real similarities, and real relationships. When you combine this with the skill of sharing a story, you have a powerful mix that makes sure your message is not only heard, but also remembered. Stories are interesting, but they are only one part of the picture. Our next plan is based on a principle that is so deeply ingrained in people that breaking it can unlock doors that were thought to be closed. Use the idea of reciprocity. Think about the last time a small act, like a simple favor from a coworker, a friend's surprise coffee, or a praise you didn't expect, made your day better. Even though they seem unimportant, these times often stick with use. That's because they play on a strong emotion in people, the need to give and receive. We want to repay someone who has been kind to us because of that inner drive. It's not just good manners, it's a big part of who we are. People will see and interact with you differently if you understand and use this force. The sage Seneca said that when we teach, we also learn. This perfectly captures the idea of exchange by giving useful information or even small favors without expecting anything in return right away. You sow seeds of kindness. Over time, these seeds will grow into a group of people who want to help, support, and put you first. The person may not even know why they feel compelled to return the favor, but the link that is created by genuine acts of giving pulls them toward you. Still, this plan needs to be approached with care. There is a thin line between real movements and direct influence. Being honest is key. Help others or share what you know without expecting anything in return. When people can tell that you're acting with good intentions, the bonds of friendship and loyalty grow in strength. On the other hand, if they think you have hidden goals, trust will decrease and the relationship will end. Get ready for a deep self-reflection while you think about this concept. Our next tip is to look inside yourself to a place that is very strong but rarely thought of. 5. Put yourself first. Have you ever noticed how some people can take over a room without saying a word? Just being there makes you respect them. That energy, that attraction, doesn't come from outside sources. It comes from a deep confidence in one's own worth. Influential power doesn't come from trying to get approval from other people. It comes from putting yourself first. Even though the idea is as old as time, its core often gets lost in our never-ending search for outward validation. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength, he said. These words are a call to take a good look inside. By recognizing and developing our self-worth, we give off an air of confidence without meaning to. It's not about being cocky or having a big ego. It's about really appreciating yourself and seeing your worth, skills, and possibilities. People around you start to feel the same way about you when you love and care for yourself. As you start to love yourself, it's important to remember that this isn't about ignoring other people or becoming self-centered. It's all about balance, like the concept of reciprocity, which works best when actions are sincere. Self-love works best when it comes from real self-respect and self-introspection. You show the world how valuable you are by putting time and effort into yourself, whether it's through learning, self-care, or setting limits. This changes how people see you, which makes them more likely to value and favor you. Setting priorities is an important part of having influence, but it's only one small part of the huge puzzle of psychological tactics. As we get closer to the next plan, look out for a method that claims to control emotional waves and could turn enemies into friends. Sixth, listen to people right away. It's hard to pay attention to everyone, but those who take the time to listen will find a quiet strength. Every person wants to be understood and heard. By giving someone your full attention, you not only learn more about what they want and think, but you also show that you can be trusted and respected. It was Epictetus who said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." These wise words show how important it is to actively listen. A good listener does more than just nod and wait for their turn to talk. They take in, think about, and reply, which makes the person speaking feel valuable. This simple action, which is often forgotten how powerful it is, builds trust. By letting someone know you notice them, you become an important part of their life and are more likely to be forgotten or put last. Hearing well is more than just being quiet, though. It is a deliberate act of understanding that involves digging deep into someone else's words to find the feelings and goals that are hidden beneath them. To be present, you have to be mentally and emotionally there. As you get better at this skill, you not only become a treasure trove of information and secrets, but you also gain the power to change people's minds, affect how they see things, and direct outcomes, all because you took the time to listen. 7. Give people a feeling of lack. People have always been drawn to things that are rare, hard to get, or just out of reach for a short time. Just like a rare rock is worth more than a common stone, people are often valued based on how few of them there are. It's not about lying or playing games. It's about knowing how people naturally want to find the unusual. Imagine that you are at a party. Anyone can talk to you and wants to share their stories and be the center of attention. Then there's the person who shows up for a short time, interacts meaningfully, but doesn't stay too long. Why do you think people keep thinking about that person? This is often the case. By not being available all the time, you give your appearance a sense of value. Because they don't happen very often, every contact becomes a valuable trade and an unforgettable experience. It was Marcus Aurelius who said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." This quote captures the spirit of scarcity. It's not about denying other people your presence. It's about respecting your own time, making limits, and realizing that every moment you spend with someone should matter. People are more likely to respect and value your time if they know it is important to you. But it's important to find a balance. It might not be helpful to disappear completely, and putting too much of yourself out there can make you seem less valuable. Being present in important moments and making them matter is key. After that, take some time to focus on yourself, your goals, and your health. 8th, learn to control your feelings. In some way, everyone is affected by feelings, no matter what age or background they are. They affect what we do, how we behave, and how we talk to each other. But not many people have really mastered the skill of understanding and slightly changing feelings, both their own and those of others. Once you learn this skill, you'll be able to make yourself useful in any social setting. We all know that people like things to be stable, especially when it comes to their emotions. Stoicism is the ability to stay calm, collected, and logical in scenarios where other people might lose their cool. It quickly distinguishes you. It's like being the anchor in a rough sea. When people look to you for advice, they will naturally put you on a high. Remember, though, that it's not about hiding your feelings. It's about knowing them and using them well. According to Epictetus, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. This quote fits well with the main idea behind this plan. You build trust and confidence by showing that you can control your responses. You also get the power to gently change how people feel around you. If you can calm someone down when they're angry or comfort them when they're sad, you become a light that they are pulled to. You should be careful with this, though. It's not just play. What's going on here is more complicated than just appearing cool. People will be more open to you if you can read the emotional undercurrents of the room, pick up on their unspoken feelings, and respond to them. Not because you're trying to trick them, but because you get them and connect with them at your heart. With your new knowledge of feelings, there is only one thing left to do. What do you think it is? It's possible that you used it without realizing it. 9. Be ready to leave. There is a quiet strength in being able to leave something behind when the case calls for it. It's not a sign of weakness or disinterest. It shows that you value yourself and know how valuable you are. When you know how valuable you are, leaving the table is a choice, not a response. Attachment is often linked to care or loyalty, but it's easy for it to turn into a chain. When you're always open, willing to help, and willing to say yes, the value you bring goes down. That's when things get out of balance. People start to expect your appearance and efforts instead of appreciating them. Being hard to forget is more important than being hard to get. Seneca said, "The poor person is not the one who doesn't have enough, but the one who wants more." To be ready to walk away is to understand what this means. It means recognizing that self-respect and independence are valuable and powerful. People start to see you differently when they notice that you're not tied down by neediness or desperation. They start to understand that having your time, skills, or even company is a gift, not a right. By getting good at this approach, you show the world that you are a gift that can be taken back at any time. In a strange way, showing that you can leave will make many people want to stay even more. That kind of strength will be seen as rare, and in a time when holding on is popular, your lack of attachment will become your cap. When used correctly, the methods mentioned can increase your impact, improve your relationships, and put you in a situation where people not only value your company, but also prioritize you. But be careful. As Stoics, these strategies should only be used to persuade people when they need to be, not to trick them or get their attention. Honesty and authenticity are very important. Not only would it be unethical to use these tactics without them, but they would also work against you in the long run. Some people will want to hurt you more if you talk about your pain. Even though it doesn't happen all the time, some people will often enjoy seeing you hurt or even help make it happen. Sadism and envy are unfortunately common traits that can really get in the way of your personal growth in many areas of your life, including at work, with friends, and even in your own family. So, learning to hide your weak spot could end up being your strength. Think of yourself as a tree in a storm. The branches and leaves may move around, but the base stays strong and fixed in the ground. We're going to teach you about quiet resilience, such as this picture. You can become even stronger by showing that you're not easily affected by problems inside or outside of you. Each task teaches you to be like the tree and act like nothing bothers you. There's no doubt about the storm. You're just deciding not to let the rain and wind get to you. You will learn how to be in charge of your own life, strong, steady, and calm in the midst of chaos. We'll talk about 18 Stoic ideals by Epictetus, a famous and great philosopher that you may have heard of. Also, I want to call you to self-awareness, a place where strength doesn't come from sound, but from the quiet of the light that shines on the way. Pay attention to the topic right now, not the things that come up every day. Allow us to leave. Number 1. Listen twice as much as you speak. Do you ever wonder why our bodies only gave us one mouth but 2 ears? Epictetus says this isn't a mistake or an accident, but God's plan for us so we don't love our own sounds as much as we should love other people's voices. Instead of constantly repeating what we already know, we move forward in life when we learn from others. Starting today, listen to what other people are saying more than what you've been protecting. This concept tells us how important it is to listen and learn from other people. Often, we are so focused on our own thoughts and opinions that we miss the chance to learn more by hearing other people's points of view and experiences. We can learn different points of view, gain new ideas, and improve our relationships by listening more than we talk. This practice makes us smarter and more in tune with the world around us, as well as better people. Rule number 2. Always be ready for the worst. One of the main reasons of worry and its terrible effects is thinking that bad things will happen in the future. We worry that our kids will quit school, that we'll get fired, that our partner will cheat on us and ask for a divorce, or that something else bad will happen, like going bankrupt. The trouble is that we worry about one of these things one day and then another the next, and so on. In addition to good and happy times, life's journey also has problems that must be solved. So, we live in constant stress, with new problems coming up every day. This is where Epictetus's theory comes in handy. It is both extreme and useful. He gives us the courage to believe that everything we are afraid of has already occurred. The worst thing that could happen. From this point of view, our spirit can come up with ways to deal with problems and keep going with determination. This theory teaches us to think about how to get ready for the problems in life. We shouldn't always be afraid of what might happen. Instead, we should think about the worst thing that could happen and plan how we would handle it. This method helps us build resilience and find ways to deal with stress that come from not knowing what the future holds. When we face our fears head-on, we become better prepared to handle problems when they come up and keep going with confidence and drive. Third principle says, be ready to fail. It's the only way to move forward. Most of the time we do everything we can to avoid being seen as stupid, but Epictetus shows us another way. He thought that being seen as a fool was one of the best things that could happen. That's the real way to grow as a person and in your career. Stoic philosophers tell us that getting through tough times doesn't happen all at once, but over time through a lot of trial and error, because mistakes are how we get better at the things that keep us from being excellent. As a part of the process of learning and growing, this concept gives us the courage to accept loss. Without worrying about looking stupid, we should know that mistakes are normal and necessary for growth. We build resilience, gain knowledge, and improve our skills through problems and obstacles. We are more willing to take risks and deal with problems when we realize that loss is a chance to get better. With this way of thinking, we can be determined to reach our goals and keep growing. Principle 4. Be honest about the risks of wealth. The wealth we want comes with a bad reputation that few people can get rid of. Not just people who show up out of the blue and try to be our friends to take advantage of our good luck. It's true that money can change people, but not always for the better. When we get this highly sought-after resource, we realize we have something we didn't have before. This is when greed can lead us to break our morals. This principle tells us about the risks that come with pursuing wealth and material resources without limits. While there are clear risks, like people trying to get money from us, this shows that wealth itself can change our morals and perspectives. If we don't handle our money well, It can change our morals and keep us from what's important in life. In this way, we are urged to find a good mix between trying to get rich and staying true to our morals and ethics. Don't get stuck on a single hope, says Principle 5. Since people are naturally open to new things, we don't need to focus all of our goals on a single goal. When you put all your eggs in one basket, something bad could happen if it doesn't happen. As a result, Epictetus tells us to have many goals and dreams. Diversifying our goals not only lowers the chance of being let down, but it also increases the chances of being happy and successful. The things Epictetus taught us tell us how important it is to keep our dreams and goals in perspective. We can try new things and find new ways when we don't hold on too tightly to a single hope or goal. This not only improves our chances of success on multiple fronts, but it also helps us stay emotionally stable, since failing at one goal doesn't mean that all of our hopes and dreams are over. This principle tells us to be adaptable, willing to try new things, and strong in the face of difficulty. Tip 6. Always keep in mind that death is the inevitable final destination. This thought doesn't mean you should be negative. It's just a warning that death is the end of everything we do. When we realize this, we start to wonder if it's really worth spending years saving for things like a house that are important, but won't be with us after we die. A small notebook with Stoic ideas would be helpful to carry around with us, just like we carry our phones, keys, and toothbrushes with us every day. With them, failures stop being bad luck and become normal parts of life. We stop thinking of life as a time machine with endless possibilities. Instead, we become more sensible about it, which helps us make better use of our time. Thinking about how short life is and using that knowledge to help us live a more purposeful and important life is what this Stoic principle is all about. We have the courage to review what really matters and devote our time and energy to things and people that make our lives better when we keep in mind that everyone will eventually die. Instead of getting caught up in small or material things, this helps us live in the moment more fully and make decisions that are in line with our core values. Principle 7. A happy heart is the source of true wealth. Epictetus's famous quote, "A wise man is one who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has," gives us a unique view of happiness. This reflection goes beyond mere thought. It is a way to learn to stop being so eager for riches we don't yet have. We waste precious moments of joy by whining and complaining about what we don't have. Instead, we should be thankful for what we have accomplished so far, which is often more than we are taught to respect. Because of this, someone who is truly rich is someone who is truly happy. This idea teaches us to change how we think about wealth. Epictetus pushes us to find it in contentment and thankfulness for the things we already have, rather than connecting it with material goods and external accomplishments. This point of view helps us be happy and grateful for the moment, no matter what else is going on in the world. When we think this way, we not only find peace within ourselves, but we also become more thankful and positive about life. Principle 8 says, "Make being humble a part of your daily life." People must be ready to question what they think they know in order to really learn something. This saying from Epictetus encourages us to be humble, especially when we are learning. When we walk through life showing off how much we know, we get farther away from real knowledge, which comes from realizing how little we know about what we want to learn. Because of this, we should approach every new experience with the wonder and interest of a child who can be amazed and also wants to learn. This idea stresses how important it is to be humble when you are learning. It's important to keep growing, to remember that we don't know everything and that there is always something new to learn. Not only is humility a good thing, it's also a strong tool that helps us stay open to new information, ideas, and points of view. we can keep our ability to be amazed and understand the world around us in a deep and rich way by living our lives with the attitude of a lifelong student. Principle 9 says, think of guilt as a curse. People who have trouble seeing tend to blame others. Normal people feel bad about themselves, but those who are truly wise know that pointing fingers is a waste of time. Based on what Epictetus said, modern therapists now see shame as a feeling that we need to get rid of. To get rid of guilt, you can't play its game. The problem is that blaming others or ourselves is an easy way to get out of caring about fixing our mistakes. Because of this, relying on guilt is a tempting mistake. People who are truly determined to change can escape falling into the shame trap and also accept responsibility for their actions. This idea shows us how important it is to let go of guilt, whether it's about other people or ourselves. Many times guilt gets in the way of us going on and learning from our mistakes. We should not focus on who is to blame. Instead, we should accept our mistakes, learn from them, and make changes. For this to work, you need to be emotionally mature and ready to grow and change instead of staying stuck in loops of guilt and self-reproach. We can move forward in a better and more positive way when we admit our flaws without feeling guilty. 10th principle: make connections with successful people. We move away from someone who sneezes near us very quickly because we are afraid of getting sick. However, we don't always take the same precautions to avoid an even more dangerous virus: criticism and courage. Epictetus told us that the people we hang out with have a big impact on our mood and attitude, so we should choose to be around people who make us want to be better. Some people make our day worse and drain our energy, while others make us happy and excited. Therefore, one of the smartest things we can do is to surround ourselves with positive people and stay away from negative people who can make us feel bad about our lives. This concept stresses how important it is to care about the surroundings and the people we work with. It's just as important to protect our mental and emotional health from the bad effects of toxic relationships as it is to protect our bodies from getting sick. We are not only improving our quality of life, but also enabling ourselves to reach our full potential by choosing to be around people who inspire us, share our ideals, and give us the courage to grow. And it's a strong lesson that we are a lot like the people we hang out with. Always remember that your reactions determine your fate, says Principle 11. Our reactions to things are very important to our success or failure, so we shouldn't take them easily. It was made clear by Epictetus. He taught that even though we can't pick the things that happen to us, we can choose how to handle them. Having bad luck can happen to anyone, but how we react to it determines what we do next. Some people might see a breakup as the start of a time of sadness and abuse, but Epictetus saw it as a valuable chance to start the journey of self-discovery. Keep in mind that what you do with the things that happen to you makes up your life. Attitude and opinion have a lot of power over our lives, as this theory shows. Situations may be out of our control and even bad, but how we react to them is where our real power lies. When we choose to be upbeat and take action when we face problems, we turn them into chances to grow. This teaching pushes us to take an active role in our lives and use every event, good or bad, as a way to learn more about ourselves and the world around us. 12th principle: always do what you're supposed to do. To society and the world, everyone has a special job to do. The sun doesn't need praise or ceremonies to rise every morning. It just does what it's supposed to do. Each part of nature does its job, and as a part of nature, we should do the same. We fail ourselves and the community we live in when we wait for praise or praise to do our work. Because we know what our purpose is and that other people rely on our help, we have a moral obligation to act without being told or pushed to do so. In the big picture, This concept gives us the courage to understand and appreciate how important we are as individuals and as a group. Having a feeling of purpose and direction comes from knowing that every action, no matter how small, makes the whole work. Our actions shouldn't be driven by the desire for praise from others, but by the knowledge that taking care of our duties is important for society's health and peace. We help make the world more fair and equal by behaving with this sense of duty. Tip 13. Avoid hatred against those who are hostile to you. Instead, choose to ignore them. People who attack, insult and discriminate against you can't understand how great and morally better you are. Because of this, don't waste your time feeling bad about these people. They don't deserve any of your attention. Since their aggressive actions are merely pointless attempts to hurt us, we must have the courage to not be afraid of those who hurt us. Because of this, avoiding them makes you immune to that kind of criticism. This theory gives us a useful lesson about how to handle anger and criticism. When you are treated with hatred or contempt, you might want to feel the same way. However, when we do that, we let those people affect how we feel and what we do. You can keep your peace of mind and show a lot of mental strength and growth by ignoring people who treat you badly. This method is not about being passive. It's about deciding not to let other people's bad moods affect our peace of mind and health. Point 14. Embrace the path of introspection and reconsideration of our life choices, placing simplicity as an ideal to be valued. This message shines like a light of knowledge in a time when people are constantly seeking wealth and opulence and buying too much. It shows the way to a more balanced and real way of life. Choosing simple doesn't mean giving up comfort or quality of life. It just means changing what's most important to us. In the race to get more material things, we often get stuck in an endless circle of maintaining our wealth, which takes a lot of money, time, and effort on a physical and mental level. This pattern can make us worry all the time about bills, payments, and keeping up a way of life that is often more about fitting in with what other people expect of us than being true to our own wants and values. Making your life easier, on the other hand, can help you live a more peaceful life that is focused on what really matters. We can slow down and feel less stressed and anxious when we don't have to worry about handling our money and wealth. It's not necessary to live without comfort, but it is important to find a balance so that comfort doesn't become a fear or a block to more real and satisfying experiences. Plus, being simple can help us connect with the world around us in a deeper and more important way. Getting rid of our stuff gives us freedom to move around and spend our time and energy on relationships, personal experiences, and developing our interests and hobbies. Ultimately, simplicity gives us the chance to live our lives based on our own ideas instead of following what other people want us to do. By valuing simplicity, this principle tells us that we are not just choosing a style, we are also moving toward a better, more balanced, and genuinely rich life in the ways that matter: relationships with other people, personal experiences, and the pleasure of living a life that is truly ours. Idea 15 invites us to profound reflection on the power of self-control and the importance of emotional resilience in our daily lives. This lesson, which comes from old knowledge, still applies to today, when we are often faced with words and actions that make us feel bad. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, says that our emotions are controlled by several keys that are inside us. There are some of these keys that lead to peace and happiness, and there are others that cause mental turmoil. Allowing other people's actions and words to bother or anger us is like giving one of these important keys to someone else. By doing this, we give them indirect power over how we feel and, by extension, how good our lives are. Based on this concept, real strength comes from being able to build and keep up a wall of mental resilience. The wall is not something that stops people from connecting or understanding. It's a defense against the harmful and unhelpful impact of others. We can choose what from the outside world affects us and what we let go of by building this resilience. This attitude doesn't mean not caring about other people. It means having power over your own feelings. We can feel more emotionally free when we realize that we can't change what other people do or say, but we can change how we react to them. Being free is important for keeping our minds at ease and focused on what's important for our own growth and happiness. This way of thinking helps us become emotionally mature, where we know that we can't stop other people's behavior from hitting us, but we can choose how to handle it. We can keep our inner peace and stay focused on our own path by taking a posture of resilience and self-control, which helps to create a happy and contented atmosphere. As it turns out, that's what makes a life full and happy. In Principle 16, it says that friendship is more important than material wealth. This teaching goes deeper than just appreciating human bonds. It goes to the heart of what it means to be truly rich in an emotional and spiritual sense. In a world where success is often measured by things we can see and things we own, this principle reminds us that real wealth lies in human connections. Friends who stick with us through life's ups and downs are like lights in the dark. They not only support and understand us, but they also help us see things from different points of view, adding a wide range of ideas and experiences to our lives. Investing in these kinds of friendships is an investment that pays off in huge ways. Unlike material things, which can lose value or disappear, the value of a genuine and sincere friendship can never go away. Ultimately, this principle tells us that our wealth doesn't lie in the size of our bank accounts, but in the quality and depth of the relationships we keep. A rich life is one full of true friendships, where each friend is an invaluable treasure, a source of joy, wisdom, and strength. By aiming to be good friends and keep meaningful relationships, we are not only making our own lives better, but we are also making the world a better place to live by connecting more people. Principle 17. Always look for ways to make things better. Epictetus said, "No matter what happens, it is your choice whether to benefit from it or not." This means that finding the good in bad situations is not just a choice, it is a must. As long as you are wise, you will be able to see opportunities in the problems you face. Imagine that you are fired from your job one day. Instead of giving up and blaming fate, see this as a chance to start that project you dreamed about while doing a less interesting job. So, try to see the good in every situation. If you do this for your whole life, you will definitely end up in a better place than if you just give up and complain. By adopting this mindset, we not only overcome challenges, but also evolve and strengthen ourselves, paving the way for a more promising and fulfilling future. Epictetus taught us to turn challenges into steps for personal and professional growth. Instead of being overwhelmed by adversity, we are encouraged to use our creativity and resilience to find alternative paths and hidden opportunities. Inspired by Stoic teachings, Principle 18 gives us a helpful way to think about how to deal with life's challenges and unknowns. It helps us understand what we can control and what we can't, and it stresses how important it is to put our energy and attention on things we can change. Epictetus's Stoic wisdom tells us that we can't directly control many things in life, like how other people see us, our reputation, how well our efforts turn out, success, and even the resources that are available. Living with these things that we can't control can cause us a lot of pain and frustration if we worry about them too much. The principle tells us to accept this reality and stop wasting time and energy worrying about them. When things are going badly, it's easy to get angry or upset about what's happening, but Stoic philosophy tells us to look at these problems with curiosity and determination, seeing them as chances to learn and grow as people. In short, Principle 18 teaches us how to accept and change things. When we accept what we can't change and change what we can, we feel more purpose and peace in our lives. This teaching not only helps us deal with the ups and downs of daily life, but it also prepares us to face more difficult times with a balanced and positive outlook. By internalizing and applying this teaching, we become more resilient and focused, capable of navigating challenging periods with a clear mind and a calm heart. Stoic philosophy, then, is not just a set of ideas, but a practical path to a more balanced and fulfilled life. Picture that you are in charge of your own life, and that words are both your most powerful friends and your most dangerous enemies. We're going to talk about the art of Stoic silence today. What you don't say has the most power. I'm going to tell you 10 things that you should be very careful about if you are a modern Stoic. When you talk about these kinds of things, they can make or break your personal kingdom. In a time when knowledge is king, your silence is like a castle, strong and secure. As we explore these areas of silent power together, keep in mind that your heritage is made up of both what you say and what you choose to keep inside. Stay with me, because every topic we talk about will help you get better at using your Stoic judgment in smart decisions. This is more than just wisdom. It's your shield in a world full of wordy battles. So, get your mind ready, because what's about to happen could be the armor you need for the fights that are coming. Together, let's enter the world of Stoic silence. 1. The small goals that drive you. Every man has quiet hopes and dreams inside him. When did a simple pleasure or an unspoken goal last make your heart beat faster? In the corner, the guitar is gathering dust and wants to be played. Or maybe it's the joy of going for a run first thing in the morning before everyone else wakes up. These private sparks, which you might miss in the daily grind, are your private fuel. A lot of people want to talk about their dreams, share them, and in some way confirm that they exist. But be careful. If you say these things too soon, other people might look at them too closely or get them wrong. You may not find beauty in your desire to play the blues or in the growth of your yard, but other people will. Restraint has value in Stoic philosophy. Keep these goals close to your heart. They are yours to grow in the quiet parts of your mind. When the time is right, they will come out not as whispers, but as clear extensions of your will. But don't let these quiet hopes drive you. Let them speak only when they are fully formed and ready to stand tall against the world's noise. The strength of the Stoic and the power of the unsaid dream have been passed down from generation to generation. The holy songs of the soul are the thoughts that dance in the quiet parts of the heart. Think about the mysterious Socrates. His ideas don't come from him, but from things his students wrote. The mystery surrounding him has endured for a long time, showing how powerful silence can be. This is a powerful metaphor for the modern man. Nowadays, everything about our lives is publicized for everyone to see. But there is a deep strength in the secret, deepest desires. You should not waste those early thoughts and half-formed dreams. They are the building blocks of your future greatness and should not be wasted on pointless talk. In the middle of all the calls for openness, think about this and enjoy the goals you have yet to share. Like good whiskey aging in a burned oak trunk, take care of them in the peace and quiet of your own thoughts. Let them calm down and grow up out of sight. When they come out, they won't be just thoughts that will fade away, but strong forces that can handle the challenges of real life. Protect them until the right time. They are the sparks that could start the fire of your fate, the quiet songs of desire, the hidden magic that moves you forward, and they will happen when they're supposed to, at your direction and under your control. The second is your flaws and weak spots. There is a hidden war inside every business giant and hero who has ever lived. This is where their biggest flaws wait. Just like the famous Achilles had a weak spot on his leg, We all have weak spots in our armor. These are not just flaws, they are holy places in our character that deserve our greatest privacy. Think about what the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. This suggests a deep truth. It's not the presence of weaknesses that shapes our fate, but how we see and deal with them. Being open means that you have been through hard times and come out on the other side with knowledge etched into your very being. It's important to be aware of these weaknesses, but they don't have to be on show. If we share them without thinking, the unchecked force of public opinion could hit them hard, which could change how we see and accept these private facts. We shouldn't show off our weaknesses to get pity or approval. They are ours to deal with, get past, and incorporate into the fuller fabric of our character. So keep them safe with the same care you'd use for the most important secrets, because the infinite strength of character that makes us great lies in how we handle our weaknesses with stoic grace. In the quiet places of our inner world, we face our weaknesses. Admitting them to ourselves in secret is not a sign of avoiding reality. It's a way to protect ourselves. Here, by yourself, is where your weaknesses can be turned into steps toward personal growth. History is full of people who, knowing how weak they were, made themselves stronger by shaping their weaknesses into strengths. One of these titans is Abraham Lincoln, a man whose inner struggles with depression made him a better leader and person. On the other hand, Julius Caesar is a sad warning of how dangerous it is to put too much trust in those closest to you. These stories from the past bring to light an important part of Stoicism, being aware of and managing our weaknesses in a smart way. The current chant tells us to be open with the world and let them see our whole selves. But there is great power in being mindfully restrained. Accept your weaknesses and care for them in the quiet parts of your mind, but don't feel like you have to show them off for everyone to see. It's smart to keep some parts of your life story as holy books and only share them with a small group of people, or maybe no one at all. There is some beauty in mystery, and strength often lies in the pages we choose to leave blank. 3. The quiet wars you're fighting. Each man is an island in the huge ocean of human experience, with quiet fights happening inside his stoic appearance. These inner battles are like the deep, mysterious parts of the ocean that are hard to understand. These battles are strong forces that break us down and shape our will with the accuracy of an artist. Epictetus's wise words echo through the ages. What matters is not what happens to you, but how you react to it. This is not a call to silence, but to think things through. It's hard to handle the chaos inside with the same ease we use when dealing with the outside world. Today's world makes us want to share every fighting moment of our daily lives with the world so that everyone can see them. But not every fight needs an audience, and not every inner battle needs witnesses. The choice of who and when to share the depths of our problems is holy, and so is the battle that we go through alone. In this day and age, the line between private and public life is becoming less clear as social media wins us over. It looks like everyone is telling everyone everything about their lives, but smart people know how to strategically hide things. Keep in mind that your quiet fights are a test of your strength and courage. Always keep in mind that the real test of bravery is often impossible to see. People who aren't tuned in might miss the sound of your inner problems. Stoicism is wise because not all of your close friends and family can understand how difficult your fights are. Being alone with our thoughts and feelings is often where the deepest changes happen. This is similar to how the bravest heroes fight their biggest battles, in deep silence. For your own successes and luck in life's weaving, each victory is a colorful thread sewn into the fabric of who we are. The world often yells about its successes, but Stoicism tells us that it's better to be quiet and enjoy the moment. Then the question comes up, why whisper when you can shout? The answer is, the quiet security that comes from knowing your worth isn't based on how many people praise you. Sharing successes should be chosen carefully, not just because you feel like it. It's about realizing that the real weight of your achievements is felt in your heart, not in the halls of power. The Stoic way isn't about lowering your joy. It's about finding joy that doesn't depend on what other people think. When we quietly enjoy our accomplishments, we build an inner fortress that can't be damaged by the changing sands of praise and criticism from others. It's something that many great men did because they knew that even the strongest flames don't have to flicker with every breeze. Icarus's story is both a warning tale about arrogance and a powerful metaphor for the bad things that can happen when you are constantly looking for approval from other people. Therefore, enjoy your wins, but don't let other people know how proud you are. By doing this, you support the Stoic idea that true happiness comes from within, and that the best compliments are often the ones we give ourselves when we're alone with our thoughts. The Stoics thought that dealing with success was an art. There's a fine line between recognizing your hard work and letting it define you in other people's eyes. This balance isn't meant to take away from your accomplishments. Instead, it's meant to make them look better through the lens of humility. It takes a daring spirit to choose restraint in a world where digital tracks are permanent and everyone feels the need to record every victory. Stoicism tells us to go a different way, one where we take in the meaning of our accomplishments before we even think about telling others about them. The real and long-lasting kind of happiness comes from inside, is pure, and doesn't need the stage to prove its worth. So, the next time you reach the top, take a moment to breathe. Feel the moment's depth and how it really changed the course of your life. And if you do decide to share, do it with people who care more about the content than the show. This way, the fabric of your life's work stays true to itself, made up of threads of real success that don't need an outside glow to be seen as important by the harshest reviewer. For your next goals, the way you get to your destination is often just as important as the destination itself. According to the Stoic way of life, going through this process alone is very wise. Think of your plans as seeds. They need a layer of dirt to protect them and grow in the dark, away from everyone else. If you reveal them too soon, it's like putting these seeds in hard conditions before they're ready. It could slow their growth or leave them open to the damage of question and criticism. Think of the things you want to do in the future as moves in a big game of chess. If you reveal your plan, other players may be able to predict your moves and counter them. This way of thinking about silence is like a shell that protects your plans until they are strong enough to stand up to the resistance and the public's scrutiny. Don't forget that there are right times to plant and right times to gather. In the time between these two, there is a time of progress that often benefits from the comfort of silence. Enjoy this time. Let your plans for the future unfold at their own pace so they can grow into the strong realities they were meant to be. Your silence isn't empty. It's full of possibilities that are just waiting for the right time to come together. In a world where people are always sharing and being seen, think about how smart it would be to hide your cards. Consider the Stoic chess player gazing quietly at the board. His plans are kept secret, and no one knows what his next move will be. But he has his eyes on the endgame. His strength comes from what he doesn't know, from the moves he feels but can't see, and from the plans he makes in his mind. Howard Hughes, the mysterious businessman and pilot, was very good at keeping things secret. His projects were wrapped in secret and went according to his plans, which scared off rivals and captivated the world. It was this veil of secret that gave him the freedom to fly through the rough air of both business and flight. Hughes's influence shows how important it is to be quiet. It teaches us that our ideas can become stronger when there is no noise around. By taking this Stoic stance, you put a wall between your goals and what other people think about them. This lets your plans change without the outside view affecting them. As Seneca said, it's about knowing where you want to go and using the winds of fate to your benefit. If you give away your path too soon, you could get lost and be swept away by every gust of wind. As you go forward, keep in mind that Stoicism encourages a careful reserve. It's not about keeping things secret just for the sake of keeping them secret. It's about being smart about what information you share. People today value openness, but there's a bold, quiet power in working on your goals alone. When you finally show off your accomplishments, they don't just stand out. They're like the big reveal of a well-played game where every move was planned and thought out. Have you ever stopped to think about the purpose of the questioning words that live in the private parts of your mind? These are the whispers of self-doubt. Have you thought that these whispers, "Am I capable?" and "What if I fail?" might actually be quiet friends trying to help you become more self-aware? Why do we often feel the need to talk about our doubts and seek approval from other people? Could we find a more powerful truth in the halls of Stoic philosophy? That silence is not just the lack of sound, but a deep reaction in and of itself. How does one get through the dangerous seas of self-doubt? Is it possible that if we fight these questions in the quiet arena of self-reflection, they could become tools that help us grow? These days, our deepest feelings can be shared instantly. Isn't there a greater strength in going within and making time for solitude? What if the bravest thing you can do is face these inner enemies by yourself, making yourself both the battlefield and the peacemaker? Could it be that by fixing the weak spots in our spirit in private, we are actually getting ready for a better sail, not because of the worries, but because of the knowledge we gain from getting past them? Seventh, your personal growth. Sculptors and their marble work are a good way to think about personal growth because they work in a quiet, private way, taking away unnecessary parts of a work of art while no one else is looking. Every small win and lesson you learn on your own shapes you into the person you are today, without the need for outside approval. Your personal growth is not a show for the crowd, like Michelangelo freeing David from the stone. It is a private reveal of your true self. Seneca's advice to keep learning how to live shows that growth isn't so much about showing off to other people as it is about recognizing yourself in private. The real way to improve yourself is to spend time alone thinking about your problems. You don't do this to get praise from other people, but to satisfy your own needs. A Stoic practice is to value praise from within over praise from others, knowing that how we see and improve ourselves in the quiet of our own thoughts is the real measure of progress. We are constantly tempted to write down every thought and victory in this digital age, where life is often a public show. But take a moment to think, am I doing this for outside approval or for real connection? Take a look at the Stoics' point of view, as Marcus Aurelius thought about change and opinion. Personal growth is private, and while everyone else has an opinion, your own journey is the only one that is truly yours. Navigating the personal odyssey without making a noise often has a bigger effect than letting everyone know about each turn. Let your deeds and results, which are the core of your developed self, speak louder than any words you say. It's not the noise of the trip that matters, like a ship making its way through a huge ocean. What matters is the landing. Your change, your work inside, doesn't need to be in the spotlight all the time to prove its worth. In the eighth place are your own comments. There is great strength in the Stoic response to personal insults, especially in a world where complaints can go viral. Have you ever noticed that talking about your problems makes them worse? Stoicism tells us to quietly work through our anger and teaches us that inner calm is not the lack of trouble, but the control over it. Epictetus was a wise Stoic who said that what bothers us is not what happens, but how we think about it. Think for a moment about how freeing it would be to see irritations as mere shadows that lose their power when we look at them closely. When we really think about a problem and see if it's important, we often find that it doesn't need the attention we're giving it. It takes skill to know which fights are worth fighting and which ones are just our pride or fear coming out. As you sail through the sea of daily irritations, you might want to follow the steady path of the Stoic vessel, unaffected by the passing storms of irritation. And quietly strong, this is the sign of someone who is in charge of both their emotions and their peace. Think about this. What do we get by airing our complaints when they bother us? Stoicism tells us to deal with our anger in a deliberate way, not by making a show of it in public. Take the long-running fight between Edison and Tesla as an example. They were rivals because of deep-seated grudges, and their war of currents spread to the public sphere. What will happen? It was a heritage tinged with anger, and new ideas that could have come from working together were ruined by competition. We feel pushed to air our complaints as a way to relax in today's world, where people are quick to share and quick to judge. But Stoicism suggests a different way. Deal with problems on an inside, find their roots, and act wisely instead of rashly. When you're annoyed, don't strike out. Instead, take a moment to think about what you want to say. Think about whether sharing this complaint will make things better or only make things worse. Accept quiet, not as a helpless way to give up, but as a choice you can make. True mastery over oneself is shown by the power of self-control and the peace that comes after. The Stoic way is to find strength not in the noise of a fight, but in the quiet determination to get through it. 9. The calm highs and lows of how you feel. Think about how the towering oak tree stands strong through the seasons, watching the natural processes and still lasting. Its roots are deeply rooted in the ground, which represents resilience. Your feelings are a lot like the seasons of the oak tree. They are full of life and very unique. They don't have to be out in the open like falling leaves in the wind, so everyone can see them. There is a lot of strength in recognizing your feelings without saying anything and giving them time to grow and change. In a world that is fascinated by the show of emotion, the Stoic way of life invites us to a different road, one of reflection and slow discovery. In the same way that Marcus Aurelius wrote about his deepest feelings in his private thoughts, this inner conversation can help us. His thoughts weren't meant for other people to see. They were just for him to help him. As an example, we should think about the value of taking a moment to process our feelings inside first. How often do we stop the fast-paced pace of life to really understand our feelings before letting them out into the open? The Stoic way teaches us to value our deepest feelings by first being the only person who knows them. These days, everyone is in a race to post comments and be the biggest person in the room. Isn't there, though, more knowledge in the calm after a storm? During the times when we sit with our emotions and let them soak in and become a part of who we are. This is not a call to be emotionally distant. Instead, it's a call to connect with ourselves more intentionally. The Stoic way of life is not one of inaction, but of knowing what to do. Not every emotional wave has to crash into public spaces with a lot of noise. Some waves should be left to gently roll back into the ocean of our inner world. This gives us the deep clarity that comes from being alone, that we need to work through our feelings. When your feelings rise like the tide, you might want to give them space to rise and fall in your own thoughts. In the end, these events are your unique paths through the constantly shifting fabric of life. Not every part of your journey needs to be seen by other people. Some stories are more meaningful when read alone with your soul, and they're only meant to be shared when your spirit says it's time. 10. The draw of having too much comfort. It is very tempting to stay on the same old roads in our daily lives. This is called the siren call of safety. There is, however, a deep strength in quietly crossing these lines and seeking the heat of the forge instead of the warmth of the fire. This is the less praised road that often leads to bigger changes. Think about the silent bravery that comes from willingly accepting the pain of a cold shower, the discipline of a run before dawn, or the simplicity of a meal. It can be hard not to brag about our plans at these times. Social media calls, and everyone is waiting to like our work. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches us the importance of being quiet and letting our deeds speak only to ourselves, not to a group of people who agree with us. When you're stuck between safety and challenge, know that you make the most progress when you're by yourself. We discover sincerity in the quiet approval of our spirit, just as the Stoics did before us, not in the praise we receive. As Marcus Aurelius might have said, do things to move things forward, not just to show off. In history, there are people like Alexander the Great who, despite having a kingdom and a lot of wealth, chose the simple life of a soldier over the luxurious life of a king's court. He chose to sleep on the ground and eat with his men as a private act of character and a deliberate rejection of the allure of excess. This story from history is not meant to make you a hermit, but to remember you that in modern times we face our own empires of comfort. The pure of ease is a test of character in and of itself. Our modern comforts could easily make us lazy, but it's our own unsaid struggles that make us stronger. People around us don't need to see or cheer these quiet wins. They're for our own strength and story. As the rest of the world rushes to give in, let us find courage in the small fights we make every day. Allow yourself to escape into the simple, less than comfortable parts of life every once in a while. Our deepest growth often happens in these times when we choose to go without something. Remember that the most amazing changes don't happen in the spotlight. They happen in the quiet corners of everyday life. Are the people in your life really there for you, or are they just taking advantage of your kindness? It's like being at a fork in the road, not sure which way to go to make real relationships. You're not the only one on this trip. Finding our way through a mess of connections and figuring out who is real and who is pretending is something we all go through. Marcus Aurelius once said that it's important to know what kind of people we hang out with. Let's get to the bottom of this. We'll look at 16 minor but telling signs that someone might be using you in this film. These aren't just random suggestions. They're well thought out ideas based on knowledge of how people think and feel. These tips will help you see past the surface, from finding one-sided talks to knowing when your kindness is being taken advantage of. You might ask, why is this important? Because you deserve relationships that make you feel good and bring out the best in you. It's not enough to just stay away from users. You need to make and keep ties that are truly beneficial. This is about your health and mental growth. Are you ready to change how you think about and handle your relationships so that they are more real and satisfying? Number 1, words that put others down. Comments that put you down are like secret rocks in a stream. They may not seem important, but they can trip you up. If you told someone about a personal accomplishment and got a sarcastic, "That's all," that would be like telling someone about your dreams and having them put down. The things they say aren't just random. They're subtle ways for some people to keep you doubting your own abilities, making you feel less important so they can feel more important. These remarks provide a pause for thought and resilience from a Stoic perspective. Remember that Stoicism is not about hiding your feelings. It's about knowing them and taking care of them. Consider the Stoic principle of concentrating on what you can control when confronted with such comments. What you do is what gives you power. Know that these words say more about how insecure the person is than about how valuable you are. They are saying, "I feel threatened by your success." You can let these words control you, or you can see them for what they are, signs of someone else's inner turmoil. What do you say? Take these words with a calm mind and confidence. The self-worth of a Stoic is unwavering, and they don't get into small arguments. Surround yourself with positive people who will really help and support you. From the point of view of a Stoic, life is too valuable to be harmed by other people's worries. Keep your peace inside and let your deeds speak for themselves. As a Stoic person trying to grow, your self-esteem is not something that other people can use against you. It's your shield and strength, not giving in to the whims of those who want to use you for their own gain. The second thing is broken promises. Have you ever thought about how some people in your life just talk and don't do anything? They can use words like magic to tell stories and keep vows with the ease of a seasoned performer. But when it's time to act, they disappear, leaving a trail of vows that were never kept. This is the trick of investment, where words are dangled like shiny ornaments to take your attention away from the fact that no real action or commitment has been taken. It's important to pay attention to both what is said and what is done in these scenarios. Actions, not words, tell you everything you need to know about someone's intentions and dedication. It's a sign when promises are easily made but rarely brought back. Watch out for the trend. Does this person always fail when it means the most? If so, it's time to worry about how honest they are. Building a house with someone who brings nice plans but never shows up on the job is like that. People can't trust each other based on words alone. Remember that being smart is more important than being pessimistic. What you say and what you do together build trust and bonds. It's a red flag when someone's deeds don't always match what they say. It could mean that they care more about being seen as helpful than actually helping. When you realize this, you give yourself the power to choose wisely who to include in your close circle. After all, your time and emotions are valuable. Only give them to people who not only say they are honest, but also do what they say. Third, gain for one person only. It can feel like you're walking a balance in relationships, especially when you're both getting something out of them. One person getting something while someone else enjoys the ride and doesn't do anything in return is like unilateral advantage. Imagine being the helper in a relationship all the time, giving help, time, or resources. But when you need something, there's nothing but silence. It's not just being kind, it's a clear sign that no one sees how valuable you are. Stoicism teaches balance and respect for each other, which are important for any good relationship. Your worth isn't based on how generous or available you are. Be aware of this one-sided relationship and be brave enough to set limits. You have to respect yourself, not be greedy. Talk to each other honestly and see who changes. People who don't want to respond are just making room for people who really care about you. Quality over number when it comes to partnerships. You're not just a resource, you're a person who deserves a relationship that works both ways. Accept a one-person show. You deserve a team to help you along this life journey. How else could you grow after all? Taking no notice of your feelings or wants is number 4. Sometimes someone doesn't care about your feelings or wants, and it might not be noticeable at first, but it's like having a weight that keeps getting bigger. It's a sneaky way to control someone, and they never say a word. Picture that every time you talk, your words disappear before they reach them, or that when you're down, they walk right past you like you're not there. This is not just laziness. They're doing it on purpose to keep you in line, which goes against the Stoic concept of respecting and caring for each other. The people in this group paint your mental scenery with shades of disregard and disinterest while your needs are ignored. This trend is a big red flag that your relationship is in trouble. First, Listen to your inner voice to break these chains. Listen for that small voice that says, "This isn't right." You are the main player in your own story, not someone else's. When your feelings are ignored, you should speak up. Respecting your feelings is more important than having a fight. If they keep ignoring your needs, you might want to think about ending the relationship. Having people around you who see and hear you is very important. Relationships should go both ways, not just one way that makes each person happy. Self-respect and inner strength are important lessons that Stoicism teaches us. These are two keys to spotting and fighting mental neglect. Remember that the best way to teach others how to respect you is to first respect yourself. If someone doesn't respect your worth, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to leave them. Fifth, using emotions to get what you want. Marcus Aurelius, a great example of Stoicism, said, "You have power over your mind, not over outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This deep understanding is your shield against the subtle battlefield of emotional trickery. Imagine being in a relationship, a friendship, or even at work, where your confidence starts to drop, not because of a change in you, but because someone is trying to use your feelings against you. The trickster, who acts like a friend or partner, slowly lowers your self-esteem. They use a sneaky mix of compliments and criticism to make you rely on their approval. This is not only a breach of trust, but also a sneaky attack on your liberty, which is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Adopt the Stoic practice of self-awareness and personal autonomy to stand strong against this. Believe in your gut. Pay attention if conversations make you feel more tired than happy. Being aware of this is the first step toward giving yourself power. Boundaries are more than just lines in the sand. They're the walls around your mind. Engage with those who respect and support your growth. Speak up for your ideals. Challenge inconsistencies. Marcus Aurelius tells us that we have control over our own minds. Not only do we respect ourselves by protecting it, but we also support the Stoic virtue of self-control when someone tries to harm our emotions. Remember that the most important thing you have is your peace of mind. Protect it with the knowledge of a Stoic fighter. Sixth, not enough real help. There is nothing more important than real help in a relationship. It's like having your own personal cheerleader there for you through good times and bad. What happens, though, when this help isn't there? Being on a catwalk without a net is like that. You move, hoping for a kind word or a hand to hold, but all you get is silence. This lack of presence is a huge red flag in any relationship. It means you might be with someone who sees you as a moving stone instead of a growth partner. Real support doesn't mean always agreeing with you or always cheering you on. It means having someone care about your dreams as much as they care about their own. When this isn't there, your victories and losses are just background noise for them. Even if they nod along with your stories, their thoughts are on other things. They're like clouds that show up when the sun is out and go away when it starts to rain. These kinds of interactions drain you and make you feel like you're doing everything by yourself. It's very important to see these trends. When your happiness and sadness are met with blank stares or empty words, it's time to rethink the connection's strength and direction. To do well, spend time with people who truly care about your health. It's not about finding people who will always agree with you. Instead, you need to find people who will push you and cheer you on, who will celebrate your wins and support you when you lose. It's not only pleasant, but also necessary to build relationships based on mutual respect and sincere interest in a world where relationships are often shallow. These are the kinds of relationships that not only last, but also move you forward and make your life better by giving you a sense of shared purpose and understanding. Seventh, there is always competition. You're facing the silent scoreboard when every contact feels like a score in a secret game of give and take. This is a sneaky sign that you're being used. In friendly competition, both teams work to improve and win together. But in this one-sided match, someone's kindness comes with a quiet bill, and their favors are really deals. The Stoic philosopher Seneca cautions us against such imbalances in relationships, stressing the value of sincere bonds over monetary transactions. In this quiet score game, you feel like you owe someone something, like every action comes with a catch, turning bonds into notes in a book. Being aware and making limits are the keys to getting past this. Know that what you can give somebody else doesn't tell you how valuable you are. True Stoic advice tells us to build relationships based on mutual respect and help. Value relationships for what they are, not what they can do for you. In this way, you accept the spirit of Stoicism and build connections that make everyone's life better, without the stress of secret scores. 8th, being absent at crucial times. Fair weather friends are like shadows. They're there when things are going well, but they're nowhere to be found when things are going badly. This kind of behavior is a clear sign that someone is being used. Imagine that when things are going well, everyone around you laughs and smiles, but when things go badly, their support fades away like mist. These people see relationships as nothing more than a way to get what they want. They're like players who do their part when the script calls for it, but leave the stage right away when the scene calls for more than they can give. Not being there for you when you need them is not only upsetting, it's a clear sign of what they really want. Stoicism tells us to see things and people for what they really are, not how we want them to be. Being Stoic isn't about being angry when someone acts badly. It's about being clear-headed and having self-respect. Clear your thoughts and think about these connections. Setting limits and knowing that respect and hard work are important for a good relationship is not the same thing as making walls. As you go through this process of self-realization, keep in mind that you are the one who shapes your own sense of self-worth, not someone else. Number 9, not giving back. Let's say you're in a relationship where you give everything, your time, your care, even your Netflix login. At the same time, the other person just seems to take, rarely or never contributing. This is a standard case of not giving back, a big red flag that's flying high in the wind of your contacts. Stoicism shows us how important it is to keep things in balance and treat each other with care. If you're always the one who texts them good morning, plans dates, or listens to their problems but never gets the same care, it's time to take a step back and think, does this friendship go both ways, or does it feel more like a lonely one-way street? To fix this inequality, you must first look at yourself. Stoicism isn't about changing other people, it's about changing how we react to things. Ask yourself, am I making this imbalance worse by not letting people know what I need? Not to keep score, but to make sure there is a good exchange between both sides. Talk about how you feel and what you need. The other person will try to balance the scales if they care about the relationship. If they don't, it could mean that the connection needs to be looked at again. As a modern-day Stoic teacher, remember that your happiness and well-being are the most important things in the world. Not just one person in a relationship should feel heard and valued. Betrayal is number 10. I see deception. In relationships, betrayal is like a storm that builds up slowly, and people often don't notice it until it hits them like a sneaky vine. You might ask, how can I spot this threat that is slowly moving? Being aware is the first thing that will protect you. Pay attention to how much you give and how much you receive in your conversations. Is there a trend where they always take and you always give? When you're done with this mental tug-of-war, you're tired and unhappy. It's time to talk about options. It's not enough to just name the problem. You have to do something about it. Stoicism shows us that how we think and feel has power. You can choose how you think about and respond to these things. If you think someone might betray you, deal with it with the calmness of an old Stoic. Talk to them, but also make clear what the rules are. It's not enough to just point fingers. You need to understand how things work and choose how to move forward. Will you fix the crack or start over? You can make your choice, but be smart about it. You have the strength to pick a path that fits with your morals and respect for yourself, so keep in mind that your mental health comes first. The 11th thing is limited access. Selective access is a modest but strong tool that is often used to trick people. Think of yourself as the person who people always call when they need help. Like a lantern in the dark, your presence is always there. There is a big change when you switch the scenes, though. Getting to see them is like seeing a shooting star, rare and on their own terms. Not because of plans that don't work together. It's a choice or a strategy. They keep you at a distance and decide how the friendship will go. You're dancing with them, and they always tell you what steps to take. It seems like your texts and calls are going to nothing, and no one is picking up. When they do reach out, it's usually to further their own goals, making you simple props in their story. This mismatch hurts your sense of self-worth and makes you question yourself. Are you important? Do the things you do matter? This is where Stoicism comes in, giving you a way to look at things again and take back your power. Stoicism teaches you how to see things clearly by telling you to see things as they really are and getting rid of your mental fog. It's about knowing your own worth, not depending on what other people think of you. Remember that your worth is not tied to what they want. Take up the Stoic habit of thinking about yourself. Think about how the connection works without anger, but with understanding. It's not about putting up walls. It's about setting limits and knowing that effort and respect for each other are important for a good relationship. Remember that you are the one who shapes your own sense of self-worth. You are not an observer in someone else's story. 12. Making you feel bad about yourself. A skilled deceiver loves to use guilt as a tool. You feel like you owe someone all the time, which is a sneaky trick. After all the good things they've done for you, they might say something like, "I thought you cared about me." This turns every kindness into a loan you didn't ask for. This trick takes advantage of your kindness to make you feel bad about saying no. But here's the thing. Just because someone asks for it doesn't mean you have to give it to them. Putting yourself first isn't selfish. It's the right thing to do. Learning how to say no is very important here. Being able to set limits shows that you value yourself. Don't forget that your kindness is not money that can be used to pay for other people's wants. Stoicism tells us not to let other people decide how we feel. Someone is trying to control your feelings when they use guilt to get what they want from you. Do not let them. Step back and ask yourself, am I doing this because I want to, or because I feel like I have to? Stoics believe that you should act based on reason, not obligation. Being honest is very important. It's likely not right if something doesn't feel right. Believe your gut. You can decide how to respond, and saying no is sometimes the strongest thing you can do. It's not enough to avoid being used. You need to live a life that is truly yours. 13. Not being interested in you personally. Talking to someone often feels like hitting tennis balls against a wall, which means they're not giving you enough attention. Your words are just background noise for the other person's show. It's like putting all of your feelings and ideas into a hole in the ground and expecting to hear an echo. This is more than just being heard. It's about being seen. A real talk is a dance of words, a two-way exchange that makes both people better. When people keep leaving you out of conversations, that's a huge red flag. There's more going on than just bad communication. It means you're being used as a talking board instead of being respected as a conversation partner. Stoicism teaches us how important it is to treat each other with respect and care in relationships. If someone ignores you all the time, It's time to think about how valuable and healthy the relationship is. Your voice should have a place to be heard, not a blank. To fix this mismatch, you don't need to yell more. You need to know where your opinion is respected. Stoicism gives us the courage to concentrate on what we can change, in this case, the people we choose to interact with. When people don't listen to what you have to say, it might be time to talk to someone who does. This isn't giving up. It's picking where to put your mental energy. You should look for situations where your thoughts and feelings are not only heard, but also cared about. Your feelings and experiences are not extraneous parts of someone else's story. They are what make your story special. Pick a place to share them where they will not only be heard, but also repeated back with the same attention and energy. 14. Talks between one person only. Have you ever been in a chat where you felt like all you were doing was listening to someone else's story? That's a one-way exchange, which is a common sign of being used. You start talking about your day, but then the conversation goes off in a different direction, and all of a sudden you're listening to someone talk about their problems, successes, and everything else. Your words are just crumbs in their story. The hungry quiet on your end eats them up. The Stoic principle of kindness and reciprocity is violated by this trend of self-centeredness, which is not a one-time occurrence. Stoicism teaches us to value relationship over talking at one person, because real talks go both ways. When you're having a talk with only one person, take a moment to think about the factors at play. Are you an eager player or just someone who listens? Your voice is important and should be heard. You shouldn't just sit back and watch your life happen. Talk to people who value your point of view and see talk not as a stage, but as a trip you are both on. Stoicism isn't just about getting through difficult times, it's also about living. And real living means building bonds that make your life better, not worse. Number 15. Making you doubt yourself. Confidence is like a fragile light. It flutters in the breezes of doubt and grows in the warmth of courage. But what happens when someone puts out your spark over and over, leaving you in the cold darkness of doubt? Being used is always shown in this way. Imagine telling someone your hopes and dreams and being laughed at or doubted. It's not just disappointing, they're doing it on purpose to keep you small and show that they're better. Stoicism teaches us how important it is to believe in ourselves and have inner strength. When you face problems like these, remember what Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Your trust is yours to give and keep safe. Spend time with people who will fuel your passion, who will see your promise, and will give it the courage to grow. And when people say bad things about you, believe in your own worth. Their approval doesn't change your value. Stoicism isn't about wanting approval from other people. It's about getting strength from inside yourself. Your dreams aren't just empty thoughts. They show you how to reach your goals. Do everything you can to protect them, and let your deeds speak louder than any words of doubt. Success is, after all, the best way to deal with doubt. Number 16. Love that depends on certain conditions. In its purest form, love is a force that doesn't care about rules or standards. But what happens when love comes with conditions, when "I love you" is used as a bargaining chip to get what you want? This is the truth for many people who are stuck in the web of limited love. Just imagine hearing those 3 words, followed by a long list of things you should or should not do. It's not just emotional bullying, it's also a breach of trust and a radical break from the Stoic ideal of love that is based on respect and understanding for one another. When love is used to control someone, the connection needs to be looked at again. When it comes to love, there should never be conditions or demands. It's about accepting yourself as you are, flaws and all. This idea is similar to the Stoic principle of amor fati, which means love of fate. Embrace Stoicism's focus on inner strength and self-respect to get through this difficult situation. Your worth isn't based on how much someone loves you. It's something that can't be changed. Know the difference between real love and respect that is based on conditions. The first one lifts and strengthens, while the second one limits and bonds. People who love you for who you are, not what you can do, should be around you. Stoicism isn't just a theory. It's a way of life that leads to inner tranquility and happiness. When someone shows care on the condition that you do something, remember how valuable you are and let your love be a light that never fades. As we reach the conclusion of our journey into Stoicism, it's important to remember that the path to becoming the person you want to be is ongoing. The insights and strategies we've explored are not just one-time solutions, but tools to carry with you every day, to be honed and adapted as you grow and face new challenges. Reflect on the changes you've begun to implement in your life. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and be patient with yourself in moments of struggle. The true essence of Stoicism lies in recognizing that our power lies in our reactions, our decisions, and our will to persist. Keep these teachings close to your heart as you continue to navigate the complexities of life. Remember, the journey to self-improvement is not a race, but a marathon filled with endless opportunities for learning and growth. Thank you for allowing us to guide you through the principles of Stoicism. May the wisdom you've gained be a light on your path, illuminating the way to inner peace, resilience, and fulfillment. Remember, the best version of yourself is not a distant dream, but a possibility within your grasp, one thoughtful step at a time.